What's happening, people? We are live. What's up? What's up? What do you know? We're right on time. Who all is in here? Unknown official, unknown official. All right, man. All right. Ironton auditor. Let a few more people get in here. We have a subject that we want to go over. Give me a minute, guys. Sweetheart, can you? As you can see, Sarah's got our little Halloween decorations in here. She built this little haunted castle looking thing. That was kind of cool. What's up, honey? Vera, Austin, West Virginia. That's what's up. Orange cones. How you doing, man? How you doing? So basically, what I've been seeing, and I've been kind of staying off of people's live streams, and I haven't really been commenting too much. But I see this kind of like a divide. You know, on one side of it, we have you know people that hate Chile de Castro, and on the other side of it, we have people that hate the cops. I mean, it is what it is. Uh, I want to get something clear. We don't hate the police. Um, I feel like there's a great need for policing in this country. There's a lot of shit going on out there, and a lot of people that just out of control. So, having guys out there that you can call on when you need somebody, or that you can depend on, to come and actually protect you. Uh, it's needed. It's a necessity in this country. But a lot of what we have now is a lot of these young guys that are just coming in, joining the force, whatever, and they're carrying guns around and they got this badge and they just, they got a little power, and most people they encounter, they pull over, you know, it's like yes sir, no sir, which is great. Having that respect for another human is awesome, and somebody in a seat of authority, yeah. But do you really respect these guys, or do you fear them? Are you afraid of what they're gonna do, what the next question they're gonna ask you, stuff like that? Because what we've experienced recently and over the past 2 years is, I'm gonna break it down for a lot of people that don't know. Sarah and I, we were being harassed by a small group of Ironton, Ohio police officers. It all started, and we never got pulled over. Cops over here, they don't mess with us. It all started a little over 2 years ago. I came out of the dollar store in Ironton, the one right across from the bridge for you guys that are from Ironton. There's a CVS right across the street, catty corner. When we went in the dollar store, we saw an officer, and this was Officer Evan McKnight. He was sitting in the parking lot next to a white minivan talking to some female. And, it is what it is, whatever. Just a cop talking to somebody. So when we come out of the dollar store, I had my wallet in my hand, and I was putting it in my pocket as we walked out the door. At least that's what the security camera showed. And got in the car. We were going across the street to CVS to get her some fingernails or, some female stuff that she wanted to get. And we got over there, mind you, on the way over there, we're kind of circling around the block here, and I'm watching this cop. He pulls away from this minivan. He pulls right into the parking spot that we just pulled out of. He opens his car door. He reaches down. He gets something off the ground, so it looks like. And, I get across the street. I get out of the car. I go to grab my wallet. I realize it's not in my pocket. I start looking under the seats and everywhere. And as I'm doing that, I look over and I see that cop. He pulls out of the parking spot. He sits there for a minute by the main street, and he looks in his lap for about 10 seconds. Then he pulls out. Heads up 3rd Street toward Colgrove, for those of you that are familiar with Ironton. So I'm like, oh, he got my wallet. He picked it up. Cool. We can get it back. So I sent Sarah to the police department to have them dispatch the officer, Evan McKnight. I have a handicapped brother. I was helping him out. That's what we were in Ironton for. And, she comes back from the police station. She's kind of crying, really upset. She said that one of the cops followed her from the police station to where I was at my brother's house. And I guess the reason for that was they had asked her what her fiance's name was, because she told them it was her fiance's wallet and that there was no ID in it. I think that they knew there was no ID in it. That's how I'm pretty sure, But like I said, this is one cop that picked it up, and then you have 3-4 cops that are backing him up, that are taking up for it, as if they knew he didn't do it, or they weren't there. But the cop that picked it up, McKnight, he asked Sarah, he says, "You do know that you're accusing an officer of theft, right?" And he's like, kind of trying to intimidate her. And she says, "Look, I'm not accusing you of anything. What I'm doing is trying to get my fiance's wallet back. We saw you pick it up. Give it a rest, dude. We watched you pick it up." They got more and more standoffish from there, and she was just like, "Look, I get it. I'm not getting the wallet back." Well, the guy said, "Well, we can go check it out, but even if we do find it, there's not going to be any money in it." First off, she didn't say anything about there being money in it. There was $130 in the wallet, and she didn't tell them about it. So it was just kind of weird. Now we let that go, and it wasn't a problem. Really, it was just $130. I mean, that's a lot of money to us at times. But work hadn't slowed down yet. It was still summertime, and it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't worth, fighting with a bunch of cops. So when we leave, after she picks me up from my brother's house, we leave, and we're going back across the bridge. We see 4 cop cars parked at the dollar store. Now, we had already walked in the dollar store and asked the manager to see the security cameras. Luckily for them, there are no security cameras on that side of the parking lot, just facing outside the door. I think he knows that, though, because he sits there and talks to people in their vehicles. I think that's where he meets his, I'm not going to say, but, about 2 weeks go by, maybe not even that. We come over to Ironton. We're going to my mother's house. She lives on the very far side of Ironton. And I've got my baby great niece in the car in the back seat. And my second cousin was riding with us. We see this cop. He's sitting in a parking lot facing out like he's clocking people for speeding, but we weren't speeding, so no problem, right? We pass the guy, and right after we pass him, he jumps out. Now there's like 2 cars behind us. At this point, we know he's following us. I recognize the cop. He's the same cop that picked the wallet up. I tell her, we're going to get pulled over. She's like, "Oh, well, we're legal beagle, no big deal." It's like, yeah. So you would think that being legal, having good tags on your car, having license, all that stuff.
No paraphernalia.
We don't do drugs and all that. So you'd think that what reason would he have to pull us over, right? Listen, if the cops want to pull you over, they are going to pull you over. They don't need much of a reason, if any. They'll make something up. So that's where we were at. He pulled us over, actually outside of Ironton. He pulled us over in Cold Grove. The first thing he did was try to identify me. I think that the reason for the pullover had more to do with finding out my name than it did, anything else. He said that the color of the tag, the color of the car when he ran the tag didn't match the registration, right? The car is more of like a silver color with like a bronze undertone. He said it looks silver to him. It says on the registration that it's tan. Uh, but, when we asked him, has there been a car that fits this description involved in any crimes? Is there a stolen car that fits this description? Some reason you would have to pull us over for this? He said he didn't need that. He said that just the fact that when he runs our tag and it comes back as a color that he doesn't perceive our car to be, that's reason enough for him to have suspicion to conduct a traffic stop.
And that's true, because Ohio Supreme Court ruled that it's okay for them to do that. However, it escalated. We verified everything matched, yet we've got 4 or 5 officers still surrounding our vehicle. And, obviously, we're a little intense. I was for sure, but we were calm. We were, trying to get it done and out of the way.
In all fairness, I was being kind of an asshole. I knew he was harassing us. He asked me to if I would identify myself, and I said no. I'm a passenger. You're dealing with her. You pulled her over. She's already given you the registration, the license, and all that good stuff. So at that point, there are 5 cops surrounding our car. We have Blankenship, I think Pouch. I can name a few. McKnight was the one that pulled us over, and I'm pretty sure Akers was there. A couple of the other ones, I'm not sure exactly who they were because I didn't get to really look at all of them. I know there were 5 of them. Getting to the point, they wanted me to ID. I say no. You don't have the right to ID me. I haven't done anything wrong, and I'm just flexing my rights at this point. I mean, this is all new to me, but we're being harassed by a cop that stole something from us and didn't have the integrity to give it back. So that's where we were at. That was my feelings on the whole thing. They were trying to muscle us around. They tried to intimidate us. They were looking in the mirror. We had a baby in the car. We're like, dude, fuck this. That's not how, in my opinion, that's not how the police are supposed to treat the public. They're supposed to, approach you with respect. After all, they are public servants. Some of these dudes, take pride in that. Some of them see it as like a way to manipulate some kind of power over you, and they're so used to you telling them yes sir and no sir, which is my point, that when you tell them no, it just strokes this kind of hatred, this ego thing, and they just, I'm just telling you, when you stand up for your rights, be prepared, because some of them, they don't like it. But I want to get to the point. I have a video that I want to play. I want to put it out there because a lot of these people that are just subscribing to our channel don't know really how this whole thing started here. It started out with us being harassed. There were a lot of incidents. There were a lot of pullovers involved. There's a lot of video footage on our channel that you can go look at. One in particular kind of pushed me over the edge, and Sarah as well. She started reaching out to lawyers, civil rights attorneys, you name it, YouTube channels. We reached out to a few YouTube channels that, auditors for advice, and she reached out to Delete Laws, and he answered back. He was the only one that answered back. Imagine that. He came here. He made some promises that I don't think he ever intended on keeping. started pointing a camera in all the cops' faces, trying to pick fights with them, challenging them to cage matches, all this stuff. Which at first, I was kind of for it. Some of these guys, I think that they really needed to be disrespected and talked to that way, because that's how they did us. And I felt kind of revenge thing going on there. I wanted to see something happen. She tried to file a complaint with the chief of police in Ironton, and the chief told her that she could let her file the complaint, but she wanted to warn her that she could go to jail for filing a false complaint. So being by herself, that kind of intimidated her. She left there crying. Yeah, that's another thing, guys. If you hear me say, just reach through the screen and slap the piss out of me one good fast time. That's the Tourette's coming out. It's a tick. But so yeah, Chili was no help. He did, however, shed some light on some of the things that had been kept a secret for a long time. I mean, it wasn't a secret to anybody that lives here, but a lot of people are afraid of these dudes, and a lot of people don't want to speak out against them. And I think a lot of people are happy with that. Some of the stuff that was coming out, they don't want to come out. The cop that resigned, School Jarek, the guy that worked at the sheriff department, the thing with him, grooming high school girls and stuff. I don't know about that. I know that the sexting, they accused him of, sexting the 17-year-old girl off and on, and then eventually, taking her to. Wait. What's Lisa saying? Are they legally required?
There's no such thing as a false report.
Lisa.
There is.
Lisa, get off of it. Just get off of it. Seriously. Y'all, this woman will take up for the police no matter what they do. It doesn't matter. They could rip some guy out of their car, tase him in the freaking throat, and this chick right here, Lisa, will find some way to justify it. She's biased. She's not, that's what I'm saying, guys. There's a divide. There's either this side or that side. There's got to be some place that we can meet in the middle to where there's an understanding. Like, I don't hate cops. We don't hate cops. We don't hate people. We see the good in most people, and the ones that constantly display negativity, we try. I mean, we dig real deep and try to find the good in those people. All the friends that we have, they're really close friends. They're like diehard friends. We'd put our necks out there for them. But this ugly crap going on YouTube, all these people saying these ugly things and all this, miss me with it. Because I'll just stick my finger right there and go boop, and just block it.
Archangel for Truth, no, he did not. We did not, but he asked if Chad ever gave us any feedback on our video. No, he didn't, but also in his defense, we had not got the opportunity to send all of that to him.
He's not allowed.
But
he said it. He says he's not allowed. He did kind of dance around my questions, I think.
But we understand why. He has to either act in a personal capacity or an official capacity, and with his channel, for him, that is his, private, personal capacity. And
Lisa said that's a lie. Lisa, what's a lie, Lisa? Please speak up. It's been required in California since 2017. I don't know what you're talking about, but this isn't California. And I know California does a lot of things differently than Ohio or Kentucky. Kentucky's a Commonwealth state. But what the question I had for Chad was, Archangel, the reciprocal agreement between two states. If I have a car in Kentucky and I keep up that maintenance to that car in Kentucky, and I have, say, a decal on my car that's illegal in Ohio, or I have a license plate cover that's slightly dimmed, you know, if I drive that car to Ohio, they can't ticket me or even pull me over for that, whether it's against the law in Ohio or not, because that reciprocal agreement states that anything that's legal in Kentucky follows me over to Ohio, as long as it's something with my vehicle and not something with my person. You know, if I say I have a warrant in Kentucky, it's a felony warrant, whatever, that follows me to Ohio. If like Chad was trying to say, if there's a what was it he said, if there's a
something with the license.
Yeah, like if you have a suspended license in Ohio, but yet you have a valid license in Kentucky. First of all, I didn't know that was possible. I thought that was like a national database. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not the smartest man in the world on the laws and stuff like that. We're just now getting into this, mostly Ohio laws, because that's the only place we're having trouble with police. And in one specific town, mind you. Now, we haven't had problems with them in a while, but then again, we don't go over there a lot. But I am going to put a link down here in the comment section, because, you know, there's some comments that I really can't read. And give us 1 second, guys. I'll put the link in the comments. Copy link. All right, copy link and Geez, I wish we had a computer or a laptop. This would be so much easier. All right, there it is. So if anybody wants to come up, I was hoping that David would join me on here from Sovereign Soul and Chain Mind, because I wanted to pull the video of the pullover up on the screen so everybody can see it clearly, so I don't have to, you know, do like Chili does and show you on another phone with this phone and keep moving the camera around and making everybody dizzy. Let's see, is he in here? Just bypassed. They are required in Ohio because Listen, Lisa, I'm not getting into it. Some of the comments that I read from you earlier, you misquoted me. First of all, guys, you know, when Chili was doing the fundraiser for Christy Roan and Great Lake Audits and all that, he had already raised a lot of money for Christy Roan, and I get it. The chick, he wasn't giving everybody all the facts, for one. Two, you know, he had promised Sarah help. He had promised her legal help, counsel. He had promised to help her file a lawsuit. Are you reading
I'm reading
something?
the comment. Yeah.
Okay. It must not be anything good. I'm not paying attention to many comments, guys. I've seen some pretty ugly comments. Listen.
Y'all probably seen my feathers ruffled.
So, anyway, what was I getting at? I was misquoted. I'll just say that. And you know, I'm not in the mood for the arguing back and forth game tonight, Lisa. That's just all there is to it. I came on here to kind of talk about what's going on in Ironton, and how basically I see a lot of people trying to take the attention off of a lot of bad stuff that's been happening over there, with all these funny videos, making fun of Chili, and what are we doing about these little young cops that are running around having sex with women at the police station, you know, harassing girls, throwing their boyfriends in jail, and then following them and harassing them and pulling them over and hitting them with false charges and blowing them up with tickets, and then offering them to get out of the ticket by doing favors and all this crap. You know, we've heard all these stories, and I know a couple of the people, and I'm going to tell you right now, they're not liars. And for anybody who calls them a liar, say it to my face. Say it. Stand right in front of my face and call them a liar to my face. Because I know some of these people, and they're good people, and they're not liars. But they are scared of these dudes.
What purpose would it serve him to lie about something like that? It's bad enough in itself to have something like that happen, but to be afraid to be able to have someone help you because of it, for fear of what they may do in retaliation. Where do we go? What do we do? I mean,
Lisa, you did misquote me. You said that I said, and quote, "Where is Sarah's fundraiser?" Lisa, go back, watch the video, man. I didn't say that. My comment had nothing to do with any money for Sarah. My comment was, and I quote, "What about Sarah? Why aren't you helping Sarah?" Those were my words. Go back and look. If you can prove me wrong, I'll apologize. I'll kiss your ass.
You will not?
I don't care how old it is. So, because I know what I said, and you did misquote. You did. That's all there is to it. I know you don't like being wrong, but in this instant, you are wrong. Take it on the chin. You know, this is what gets me. There's a lot of people that live around here that are just so entitled. They just, everything they do is righteous, and you know, they look down on people. They look down their noses at people that, you know, hey, listen, I'm saying, you know, again, listen, I have a colorful past. I have a felony criminal charge on my record. I have a drug trafficking charge on my record. So if Joe Akers knows that and he thinks that that's a good reason to pull me over, okay, man, but you better find drugs in my car. And you will not find drugs in my car because I don't do drugs. So there's that. You're allowed to have a past. You know, that's nowhere in the law does it say that you can't clean up your act and turn your life around. I know a lot of people that have done it. I know a lot of people that I wish had the
means and the support and the encouragement, because it takes a lot.
You know, we support a few of our friends that are just really down and out, and we see them fucking up pretty bad. We don't go around them much because, frankly, you know, we can't. Anybody who's a former drug addict will tell you that you just can't do that. You have to surround yourself with positive people. You can't be around people that are doing that kind of stuff. And you know, I've seen a lot of people die around here from that, and some of these deaths are questionable. And that's where I'm coming from about the cops. Why aren't they investigating these so-called accidental overdoses? Tell me why Lawrence County Sheriff's Department is the first one to arrive to an accidental overdose that happens in South Point, 20 minutes away, when the South Point Highway Patrol office is right across the highway. Literally, their offices right there, and there's a South Point police department. Tell me why the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department are the first ones to arrive on scene. And tell me why they're not investigating. Tell me why they find a dead woman in her car, windows rolled up, all the doors locked from the inside, dead ski. They know she's dead when they arrive. They say that in the report and in the statement that they wrote, that they did for the Ironton Tribune. They know she's dead when they arrive. What's the first thing you would do? I've never taken classes to be a detective, but I can tell you right now, the first thing I would do would be protect the scene. Yeah, protect the crime scene. It's a crime scene until you can prove it's not. How are you just going to mark something off as an accident when you don't know the facts? You're a cop. You guys are detectives. If it was somebody with a bunch of drugs in their house that you could go in and confiscate, guarantee you're going to investigate that. This is a dead woman, probably a mom, probably a sister, daughter, dead in her car. I think her family deserves to know exactly how she died.
If she has one.
You know, I don't know if the girl has any family, but
Y'all gotta understand.
maybe the cops know that too. Maybe they know she don't.
Where we're coming from here. It's a little small area. Everybody knows everybody.
If this was Houston, Texas, or Nashville, Tennessee, or Cincinnati, Ohio, there'd at least be an investigation. They would investigate, right? You would think. They didn't check, you know, on the ground for cigarette butts to see if maybe there was DNA or fingerprints on the glass. They busted the glass and didn't check it for prints, nothing. Someone really close to Sarah, you know, passed away a while back. And there was no investigation there either. And we want to know why. We want to know why these cops are running loose and just doing whatever the hell they want. Nobody's holding them accountable. And one of their officers is on YouTube. And we've asked him, and he says he can't discuss this because that's his professional career. And I can understand that. But maybe get with me somewhere else and discuss it with me in private. Let's, you know, find out what's going on. I shouldn't have to look over my shoulders every time I go to Ohio. My mom lives there, for one. And two, it's a tri-state area. There's things in Ironton that we don't have in Ashland, and vice versa. I see more Ohio cars driving through Ashland than I do Kentucky. You know, they come over here. There's more stuff over here. Ironton's a small town. Ashland's what, 5 times bigger?
Yeah.
If not more.
Definitely.
And we shouldn't have to worry about it when we want to go over there. We should be able to travel freely without worrying about if we see a cop, because I know for a fact when we see them, they're going to follow us. They're going to pull us over. I've called it too many times. Just on the last, 5 incidences, we had dash cameras. We smartened up. We got cameras. It took them a while to learn, but they still messed with us. They still pulled us over. The minute Sarah starts talking, this little asshole starts getting red in the face, calls the other little asshole that stole my wallet, tells him to come put her in cuffs. Guy didn't even ask a question. He showed up and slapped cuffs on her. For one, he picked her up by her shoulders out of my car. And I got to watch this happen right in front of me by a guy half my age and do nothing. Because what? I can get shot, tased, taken to jail, charged with assault on an officer. But it is my understanding that and tell me if I'm wrong, because you know this, you've been reading up on this. If you forcefully resist an unlawful arrest, is that illegal?
No, it's not.
It is not. You can forcefully resist an unlawful arrest. Granted, you might get shot. You're definitely going to get tased or beat up. But it's not illegal to protect yourself, even from a cop, if he's in the wrong. The hard part is getting past that cop and getting to court to find out if they're never going to give you that chance. Believe it. They're going to dominate the situation. Whatever it takes, as long as they go home safe.
It's like
look, man, I want to see you go home safe, but I want to go home safe too.
Yeah.
I was just driving around town doing nothing, minding my business. You were out looking for trouble, looking for something to do. So I think, you know, I didn't sign up to be a cop. You did. And when you get busted dealing drugs, what do? They let you resign. They don't fire you. If I got caught dealing drugs, my workplace would fire me. Not only that, I'd be in prison right now. But we got a cop that gets busted dealing drugs, and he gets to resign. He gets paid leave while he goes to jail for it. And that's dishonest to me. Pam Wagner, Miss Calabash, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, woman? It's horrible. You don't do that. You don't delete people's videos from their phone when they come in and show you a video of one of your cops doing dirt. You jump his ass, because more so than he's just your brother because he's a cop, he's a dirty cop in your department. And if you're a good cop, any kind of good cop whatsoever, you'll get rid of them guys. And
That's the hardest thing, though. They're so they're just another gang. Their brotherhood is so tight that even when they know the other one's in the wrong, they support each other, and it's going to get worse. I mean, if we can't, if something can't be done to hold them accountable, I mean,
Lisa, cop sucking, just all over the cop sucking. I'm sorry, Lisa. I'm sorry you haven't seen it. I mean, I'm glad you haven't seen it, but I guess like you got family that are cops and stuff like that, so we can't really trust your opinion.
We don't really mean no disrespect, about any of that.
Because I'd take up for my family too. And yeah, no disrespect. It's just that you've got dirty guys in the department. Get rid of them. Then we can move on from there, and we can trust the police department again, right? Maybe.
If you call the police for help, you're more likely to get arrested yourself than for what you called for their help in the first place. If somebody else is bothering you or doing something to you, 9 times out of 10, they're going to take you because you're upset, irate, something.
Archangel
because
for Truth,
they can.
Says thought Bobby Law had helped with some recommendations, but to be honest, I don't. No, he didn't help. He did, however, give her a little bit of armor to go to court with. He gave her some tools that she could use in court to try to defend herself.
Some stuff I already had anyway, and it was just kind of backing up what I had already thought in my mind that I was going to be able to do. And
no, Gloria, no, that's not how you fix the problem. Doing a fundraiser is not going to do anything to fix the problem.
That's not what it's about.
We work, we struggle like everybody else. To file a lawsuit, yeah, it costs money, but to be honest, we haven't even moved forward on that. We have some complaint forms that we need to turn in, and we've been advised not to turn them in without proper representation, which we thought we would have by now. And here it is, the clock's ticking. So, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to be glad that we didn't do a damn thing about it, right? Lisa, she used to be blocked from my channel because of the comments that she makes. They're all one-sided. She takes up for the cops no matter what they do.
Can I ask Miss Lisa, what is your opposition? Like, does it have to do with Chile, or what is your grief with us?
Talking to Look, I had these cool Halloween contacts in today, and I can't see where the crap in them. Take my eyeballs out.
Hey, by all means, if anybody wants to come in, please do so. If there's questions that you guys have, ask, and we'll do our best to answer those questions.
The purpose of this video was to show a couple of pullover videos and kind of get both sides, because I know there's a lot of people that want to take up for the police. I know there's a lot of people that are kind of neutral. A lot of us can agree that Chili's full of shit. I mean, there's people here that follow him. That's fine, guys. I'm not telling you who to like and who to dislike, but Chili does that. Chili tried to tell us who to like and dislike, and we weren't having it. And that's just the way it is. You don't get to tell somebody who you can or can't have respect for. You picked a fight. You started a bunch of shit here in this town. You made all these stipulations. You made them put you in the middle of the promotion poster doing this, looking like a freaking, and you didn't show up. And your excuse was you had a bum knee. And then, 3 days later, I see you sprinting down the sidewalk in Los Angeles. Then you're doing squatting down, tying your shoe, doing things that people with bum knees don't do. And I laid carpet for 25 years with no knee pads. I know. I've got bad knees. Brother, your knees ain't hurt, man.
your image.
We saw it when you were reading those messages to Chad Goo, or from and to Chad Goo, where you said you were trying to be respectful and treat him like a human and a friend. On the same video that you jumped my shit for saying I respected the man for raising money for kids with cancer after you said you hope kids get bone cancer. Dude, can nobody see the retarded this is just he's ugh. You just can't talk to this guy. Anybody who tries to give this man advice, come back to me, tell me how it worked out for you, because it didn't work for us. And we tried really hard. This guy is an asshole. He will not take advice from nobody.
He's only on broadcast. There's no reception. He's you know what? It's like with the CB radios, man. If you're keyed up with your microphone, there's no transmission coming through on your radio. And that's how he is. He's not on receive mode at all. That's how I don't understand how he thinks he could learn anything. You can't tell him anything. He won't listen to nothing.
I'm gonna send these videos to
and don't think that we feel somewhat responsible for the shit show. The night of the fight, Sovereign. That whole day, I had anxiety all day long, up until the point that we got in the car and we're on our way there, because Chili had done pissed everybody off, and then
we thought we were going to be like public enemy number one, the only ones there that everybody thought was there to support Chili.
Yeah,
we thought all these YouTubers were there to see him.
Evil eye beams were going to cut us in half as soon as we walked in the room.
And that's not what happened.
And it's not what happened at all. Not at all.
We met a lot of really friendly people, found out they're not exactly who they are on their YouTube channels all the way, because, let's face it, this is YouTube. Some people are out to entertain. Some people are out to bring awareness. Some people are out to just call other people on their bullshit. I see a lot of channels like that.
Yeah,
their sole purpose, maybe somebody will make a channel and put me as an avatar one day, making some stupid figure. Use that one.
That's the thing that cracks me. I like the types of videos. Have you seen the ones where they'll get a hold of one of those, like those scam centers in India?
I fucking love that. The one dude who does his voice like a female.
Yeah. I love to see that. And when he fucks them like that, I love to see that. I really do, because I cannot stand dishonestness. I cannot stand that shit.
They called us, and they called Sarah and told her that they were with the was it the Social Security?
No,
or the
IRS.
They wanted her Social Security number. She's like, wait a minute. First of all, the IRS doesn't call you on your personal phone. They send you a letter. And they was like, you're going to go to jail. You're a fucking criminal. They flipped out on her.
They already have your damn Social Security number anyways. That's how they track you. Jesus Christ. Come on.
Miss Lisa, if that question is directed towards us, my answer to that is they are all first responders. I mean, you would think it would be
first come, first serve.
Any responder that can be first there to do something, whether I know that, of course, if it's a DOA, dead on arrival, there wouldn't be much anyone could do.
But let me bust a scenario out for you real quick. I'm sorry, baby. Let me bust a scenario out for you. So you're cops. You show up at this hotel. This guy is dead. He's dying when you get there. He dies on the way to the hospital. None of his belongings are anywhere in the room. You find out that there were two people with him, and that those two people came to the room with him, picked him up from the hospital, and brought him to that room, let him pay for the room, and then left with his wallet, his cell phone, even his leg. The man had a prosthetic leg. He had really bad diabetes and stuff, and he was going through some things. He had some limbs removed. He had some digits removed. For one, the guy couldn't shoot himself up if he tried. He had fingers missing. He just couldn't do it. Someone had to administer it to him. So you know that. And with this information, you find out that they leave with all his belongings. And then when you get his belongings back, when you reach out to these people and they give you his stuff back, The phone's the only thing they don't give back. Now, if you're the cop in charge of that investigation, are you going to just mark it off as accidental, or are you going to investigate? Because there's foul play involved. Any idiot can see it. This is what we're talking about. They're not doing their jobs.
Yeah, I'm seeing stuff in the chat. I guess I came late. I'm late to the party. I don't know. Sorry about that. I had shit to do. It's kind of short notice.
Well, I basically told Lisa I didn't want to go back and forth with her because she always takes up for one side, and it's not like that. It's not a one-sided thing. There's people on both sides. They're doing shit that I don't agree with, and then I can agree partly with people on both sides as well. I refuse to take a side, and that's why me and Chili don't get along, because he wants people to take up for him blindly no matter what he does, and I won't do it.
I'm trying to understand this whole sides thing anyways. Okay. I don't get that. Look, if you're a follower of DeCastro, okay, if you've sunk to that level of intelligence, or you just haven't realized yet, whatever the case may be, whatever somebody else's opinion, whatever somebody else's opinion,
something they want to hear,
Well, that's just it. If somebody else's opinion of him is not doesn't coalesce with your own, well, then okay. Why do you find it necessary that you got to go and attack those people for some reason? I don't get it. It's like, I think DeCastro is an asshole. I mean, pure and simple. I think he's a very low intelligence. I think he tries to pass himself off as high intelligence when he's not. He is, I think, a very low IQ. Great salesmanship abilities. They need a little bit of honing, because I can see right through them. But I'm going to call that out. If the man says something right, hey, I'm right there with him. Are people arrested for stupid shit? Yes. Do people get jailed for stupid shit? Yes. Do police overact in cases and abuse their authority? Absolutely. But does that mean that I'm going to just I'm going to take it case by case. I'm going to take it case by case, because you know what? I see, let's look at it from the other standpoint. Let's take it from the standpoint of the guy who's out targeting police. Okay. Just for instance, hypothetical. Guys out targeting police. Does that automatically make all civilians a bunch of pieces of shit that want to kill police, and they're just out to be the enemy of the police? Because that's what sides do. That's what picking sides do. There are legitimate people that are out there trying to make some change and put some information out into the ethosphere. And then there are those that are out there, like you said, just looking to make money. I don't give really a shit about that. I thought it was amazing. I looked at my little thing. I just monetized like a week ago. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I actually made a little bit of money. That's fucking crazy. I don't need it. I don't really fucking care. But my whole thing is, I like to come together, and it really, one of the best feelings to me, and it's going on with somebody who's a follower of mine right now. I'm not going to mention any names, but it's really interesting, because they were like, oh, no way. There's no way. Some of your views, man, he said, I can't get down with it. I just don't understand. And now he's like, you've made me think. I'm rethinking my position on that. He says, you bring up a lot of good points. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to push it on you. I don't care. I want you to keep an open mind. And when you join up with a team like that, you have to give up your core. You have to give up some or all of your core beliefs to be able to be a full member of any kind of a team or an organization or a political system or anything like that. For instance, I like some of the shit that the Republican Party espouses as a platform, even though I'm a political atheist, right? But I don't want to have to swallow their entire fucking pill in order to be in their club. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why I don't choose anything. In the great words of Neil Peart, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
That's the drummer for Rush, right?
Right. He wrote all the lyrics and shit for that. Yeah. And that's a very deep statement. If you choose not to decide, you've still made a choice. And you have to really look at that, because we live in such a binary. You're either like this or you like that. It's left or right. It's black or white. It's hot or cold. There's no warm. There's no warm. It's either full blast hot or full blast cold. Everybody's there and they all want to fight with each other. We want you to be hot. We want you to be cold. And it's like, hey, mix it in the middle. And that's what I try to do on my channel. Hopefully you're doing that same thing here. It's like, look,
I mean, that's
the
what
whole
it's all
idea of
about. I mean, like I
sides
said,
is, you know, I mean, I see a lot of these auditors, right? I don't know what else you call them. People that audit those that do the audits and shit. And a lot
I
of
can
times
name
I
a
see
few.
that they're too far the other way. I mean, they really get picayune with some shit and really overlook the idea of, you know, yeah, that is kind of weird for somebody to go into a post office with a camera. Yeah. But you know what else is weird is the fact that so many people will react the way they do because of the camera, not taking into consideration that there's about fucking 15 cameras inside the post office and a bunch more outside filming them clandestinely filming them
And
and
then you
recording
have
them. They don't fucking
you
care
have
if
these
it's Big Brother.
policies that somehow they think are supposed to trump law and constitution, because they just say, well, in our establishment, we decide, you know, what the rules are here. Like in the libraries, they have certain policies. They don't want you to come in and record with a camera. But like you said, they have cameras recording you. So what's the big deal?
Exactly. And how often you say, well, those are people in positions of authority. Well, how
I'll tell
often
you
have
what it
you
boils
found
down
about
to.
people in those positions that have abused that position in order to do the very thing that they're there to guard against? You see what I'm saying? The
Tell you what it comes,
security,
yeah,
like the
exactly.
security guy in a department store that's actually recording, put cameras in the women's dressing room and record, you know? That guy's supposed to be entrusted with not doing that, you see? But no, you abused his authority to be able to do something like that. Let me mute this and take care of my dogs 1 sec.
What I was trying to say is that what it all boils down to is, you know, what someone sees when they look at another person. If they see a person and they look down their nose on them, and you know they're not dressed like they would like to see a person dressed, or they look a little shabby, they got a beard or something, these people just look at you and get just offended. Like it's like Karens, you know what I mean? It boils down to that. Like this guy would be okay, but no, it's this asshole. So
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of judgmental shit that goes on. Well, you have to also look at too that the people will assume automatically about others based on intimate knowledge of themselves. And what I mean by that is a lot of times people that are so worried that people are going to steal shit from them or try to rip them off are people that usually, given the circumstances, would do that very thing. That's why they think others would do it to them. A lot of times you see the guy who's really jealous of his girl and really thinking she's out there screwing around, and if she's not been home at a certain time, well, that's because he knows that if he was in that situation, that's exactly what he would be doing, and that's why he projects that. You see a lot of that go on, and you can't just judge people. You can't just do that, but you also have to take into account that you're never going to get rid of that. You're never going to get rid of that. I mean, yeah, it's great
that
if
you heard there was me sending you the video. It's in 4 parts, but I think I sent you the 3.
Oh yeah. So you want me to pull these up?
Well, Miss Lisa, I see your comment, hun.
Definitely.
I'm just trying to reach a medium with you. I'm not trying to sway you one way or the other. Women are pretty firm on their standings, but you just have to understand where we're coming from too, because not nowhere else in this area except for Lawrence County, us or anyone else have an issue with the police.
Oh, yeah,
it's the young guys coming in, like they have no, they're like babies, kids. They're just running all over the place doing whatever they want, and mamas, you know, whatever. Miss Pam, and it's been going on for years. I mean, like years, so long that people see it as normal and think that what they're doing is perfectly fine, a-okay, and it's not. It's just not.
So I got a video. It's one of the pullovers that led up to all the stuff that's been kind of going on, in my opinion, is what got Chili's attention, and I guess Lackluster saw it and he kind of wanted to cover it, but after Chili covered it, he didn't want to mess with it. He did email us though and say he was glad that we kind of saw him for what he was, and you know.
Yeah, it's
But it starts off with basically we're door dashing. We're driving down an avenue. Officer Blankenship, B. Blankenship, yeah, Brandon Blankenship passes us. The minute he passes us, I'm watching for this. Yes. As soon as he passes us, he breaks his neck, staring at us, and I saw him looking. I didn't look back. You know, we knew they were more than likely going to circle around and follow us. And you'll hear me say that in the video. I said, yep, watch this. He's going to be following us here in a minute. And sure enough, he was waiting up the street from us. He passed us. He dipped down 2 streets down, went down a one-way really fast, and was waiting on us. We were going the speed limit. He had to have drove about 50, 60 up the one-way to be sitting there waiting on us about 6 blocks down the road. And as soon as we pass him, right on us. And you can hear me say in the video, go ahead, radio your buddies, tell them you saw my car. You know, we knew we were getting pulled over. We were trying to be on our best behavior and act respectable, even though we knew it was out of retaliation and they were going to do it in the first place. I was trying to be real nice to him. I was to the point to where I think I sounded really corny because it's kind of out of my character to sit there and let somebody and then be nice about it, be as nice as possible. I mean, I get pissed off when somebody disrespects me. But
I try to remain calm. I try to, but it's I end up going with I stay calm, but I'm very stern, and I don't know. I have something comes over to me where I have this articulated command of the English language, and it's just like it flows like a fucking song out of my mouth, and I don't even know. It's just like, wow, did I just say that shit? You know. But yeah, I know when you start getting all pissed off and shit, that just gets you get the reaction of what you just gave. You know what I mean? And it's hard to keep from doing that. It's really hard to keep from doing that. But you know, just like you can hit a piece of wood with your hand and break the piece of wood, but your fucking hand's gonna hurt too. You know, it's gonna go both ways. So anytime I got that queued up, anytime you want to put that up on screen.
Yeah, so bring up that first one I sent you. Let's watch
that's what I got. Part one.
My thing is I want to get, you know, because there's people, like you said, there's people that are on these teams, and it's just like with the cops. When you're on a team, you're not allowed to have your own opinion. You have to go with the majority of your team, and that's what they do. They're going to take up for each other, whether there was right or wrong. With, you know, Legicator, the only problem I have with him, David, is the fact that he has to do that. And it's like, but you're on here showing us your personal side on YouTube, playing guitar and all the stuff, and we're getting to know you. You're not a bad guy, but you let these dudes do bad shit around you, and you say officer discretion. There's a problem I have with that. 2 officers were just arrested in Piketon, Ohio, right? In Pike County, Ohio. One is looking at 10 years if convicted. They strapped the guy down to a chair, arms and legs strapped down. They had him completely subdued, and one of the cops punches him about 10 times in the face. 3 different times he punches him like 3 times, and he hits him 5 times, and he just beats the crap out of this dude, cold cocks him.
That's his cowardless.
Exactly. They unloaded pepper spray on the guy.
And the other cop that was present, he's looking at charges too. They're indicting him too, just for being there and not stopping the other cops. So that officer's discretion shit, you tell me how it works in that situation.
I've got Jeffrey Dahmer in here is wanting to know my address in Morgantown, West Virginia. If you find out, let me know. Okay, let me know. If you find out what my address in Morgantown, West Virginia is, let me know, because I've never lived in West Virginia. So that being said, Go ahead.
I can vouch for that.
No, never lived in West Virginia. Never lived in Morgantown. I've been to Morgantown a few times, but no. So yeah, you have to pull that up from backstage, Tim.
Okay, is it back there?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh, I didn't see the
yeah.
little. There's a little blue head there. I didn't see it. All right.
Hit the back. Okay.
There we go. I don't know. It's trying to get me to copy a link or something. Give me a second. Boom.
At this screen.
Gotcha. All right.
There it is.
And
So we know when you want to hear it.
action. Yeah, go for it. We got sound on it.
Yeah, it should be all the way up. Yeah.
I can't so well, but it's because I don't have a mic or anything on my phone. It's just my phone.
There's nothing going on with your motor right
So you see him go up. He goes about 3 blocks up and he takes a left. He speeds down the road about 5 blocks and he waits for us to pass. At that point, he had no reason to want to even follow us. That tag stuff and all that other stuff, that was after he went out of his way to follow us and get behind us and stalk us. That's harassment in my book. And I couldn't hear it, but right about there, I say, yeah, radio your buddies and tell them you just stalled me.
No, you were talking when you said that. You were talking on here.
Yeah,
That was
something about next time they pull us over, they better have a good fucking excuse because every time they see us, you
know. Beth Rist is filming us having a good time. Well, good for you there, Jeffrey.
And this is the back camera. This is the rear camera, so you can't see. Well, you'll see him after we pass him. He's sitting right here on this street waiting on us. That's Vine Street. For anybody familiar with Ironton, that's the same street that his brother was waiting for Sarah on when he was circling around trying to catch her up. And there he is. That's pretty slick that they don't.
Hold on.
Pull up the next one. Yeah, they're only 3 minutes long, guys. I just want both sides of the tracks to see this and tell me if you think it's okay.
Let me go back.
Chuck in Tennessee, did you run the stop sign? No, we didn't.
No. Trust and believe if we did, he would have mentioned it. We were cherry picked. They recognize our car. They've got a little description of us apparently because it doesn't matter what cop it is, even if we've never met up, they see our car, they want us.
What is going on here? Are you talking right now, Tim?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought I had like 2 videos going. I was like, wait a second, because I pulled up the second one to play after this
we'll
one.
Just watch it. I'll just keep quiet. I just want them to see it for what it is. I'm not going to comment no more on it. Just watch it, see it for what it is.
Hold on. If you want me to at any time, I can pause it. Just let me know.
Okay.
Just,
yeah.
You know.
All right.
Yeah. You know what? I'm totally in awe of Jeffrey Dahmer's um
Yeah, I'm just debating on whether I should just boot him out of here or one of my mods already shut. I don't even see any of my mods here.
that's fine. I can't believe that he found out that I actually live at 1236 Blue Horizon Drive in Morgantown, West Virginia. There's probably gonna be people all over the place coming right to that address and shit. And I really feel sorry for whoever fucking lives there, but you know,
Right on. I
right?
doubt it, man. I doubt it. You know, if anybody, it was if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be somebody that's crazy enough to actually show up in West Virginia to somebody's private address, especially if it's a private drive.
Well, here,
Guarantee you, there's going to be a shotgun pointed at their grill when they open the door.
here's one that's pretty funny about that is the
I know
fact
West Virginia like I do.
when I lived out in California, there was a place in Ridgecrest that I took my Jeep to get my oil changed and shit at, right? And as you know, that's not a very common spelling, my last name, like the biblical Cain, Cain. First name David, right? Whole 9 yards. And they was like, which one are you? And because there was another one that had the same year Jeep Wrangler as me, the exact same year, that took his shit there. I didn't know him, had never met him, but there was another one in the sparsely populated area of California that I lived in. I mean, that's pretty fucking crazy. I also had another guy in AIT down in Georgia when I was stationed there. He was in Bravo Company. I was in Alpha Company, and we both had the exact same first and last name and middle initial. So there's a few of us out there. So I guess this is dash cam part 2. Go ahead.
And just so you know, real quick, I blocked that guy.
Oh,
I just read that. Sorry about that. I'm trying to make somebody mod here, but I can't figure out how I did it last time, and I'm pretty sure it was just.
You got to be on the YouTube chat. You got to be in the YouTube watching it on that, and not through StreamYards. And then there's little
I
dots.
think you had to explain this to me before, and I should have remembered that. But you're right.
But yeah, it's there's a
You can play the video.
little dots up in the right hand corner of their name and shit on the chat, and you click on that, and it gives you the option to block, to make them be a
Oh yeah, I
monitor.
know how to do it on YouTube. Just StreamYard set up different, and it doesn't give you that.
You can't do it in StreamYard. No, I've never found a way unless somebody else knows how. That would make
Hey, real quick, that video you sent me of the Tyrone from Hello Baby.
Yeah.
After I watched that, this little video popped up underneath it, and it said Tyrone hates cigarettes, and it's this big old black dude walking around saying, "Hey yo, I'm Tyrone," and fuck that shit, knocks the cigarette out of their hand. These dudes, I mean, this one dude catches him with a 3-piece, like boop boop, dude. He's a big dude. He took it.
Yeah. Fucking
Funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh
God, that's hilarious.
You know, I got a community strike. I can't do anything for a week.
What?
Yeah. It's apparently something on my 9/11 video that they said was hate speech or bullying or some shit like that. I don't know. They never tell you. They don't tell you any specifics on it. I put an appeal in, but that's, you know.
Another thing I saw before was I've seen Terry a couple times. I don't take this the wrong way, but I've seen Terry a couple times, say I'll just slap somebody or something like that. You got to watch for that stuff, maybe, because maybe somebody is reporting it saying, "Oh, he was talking to me" or some crap like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate me out there, man. Just out
Well,
to get you.
It's only a week. It's only a week, and after that week, I might continue to do this, or I might lose interest in it by then, and you might never see me anymore on here. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So we'll see what goes on.
Bam. Yeah, you can. I'll take it. Is a mod. She's already a mod. Okay, we do have some mods. Can't tell who they are.
It's the cops. Act white.
Oh, dude, I was look. You don't know. I got Tourette's, man. I was a nervous wreck. I was trying to hold my ticks in and all this, so he didn't think I was on drugs or whatever the hell they come up with.
Not really sure what Stillwater Water's saying.
Yeah, they can apparently.
Oh, Tim, the next one I have is a part 4. I'm missing part 3.
Yeah, let me send you part 3. I was getting ready to say. I was thinking there was some, but you know what? It's already on YouTube, so it don't matter. Let me see.
And ZXL, yeah, I've got some messages from him. I haven't had the time to get and look at all the shit that's going on. He sent me, I got that link. Yeah, thanks, ZXL. I'm going to look at it here in a little while. Yes, reviews and entertainment. Yes, I do. You can send, you can get that lawsuit right to me, David Lloyd Kane. And where should I get my lawsuit for illegally sending gay pornography across messages to me for him? Where should I get that?
Sexual, that's sexual harassment, I think, right?
Well, yeah,
right?
it
Something
is.
like that.
It is absolutely 100%. And I have already contacted some people. I wasn't going to push the issue. And then he went after Arizona Jeep Girl and got the fucking dog rescue page shut down and shit. And
Yeah, see, I don't really know who that is. Sarah told her, reach out to us just because
that's
maybe
all right.
we want to know. We want all the facts.
That's all right. We did a stream and raised like over $1,500 for the dog rescue, for her pet rescue, despite his ass. So fuck him.
That's a good cause too.
Yeah. So I wasn't going to
have respect.
So now I'm exploring. I wasn't going to push the issue, but now I'm going to explore that. And I am in contact with some people, and I'm going to get his ass shut down. Because exactly what he was bitching about, some guy in his addled brain rant that he did last night, showing blurry text messages on a computer screen that didn't prove a fucking thing. He was upset because he was being bothered through text messages. And, well, hypocrite, what do you call, telling people you're going to gay rape them and sending them explicit homosexual pornography in their SMS? I found out that's
real quick, David, somebody, one of my mods are deleting comments from a good friend of mine that's actually commenting, I guess. I don't know if they're hiding. He says that's your mods are so prejudiced, they keep hiding my comment. I want to find out what she's commenting, because this is actually our sister.
You should be able to see it. You should be able to see it. You should be able to click on see deleted messages or see deleted message, because on that.
That'd be on the YouTube though, not on the StreamYard, right?
All right, I believe so. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. No, I mean it's there again. That's that type of person who want to shut people up. You know, when you cut out a man's tongue, you don't prove him to be a liar. You prove that
This is
you're afraid
something too.
to say.
When I was on Chili's videos and I was a mod on there because he gave me a wrench because so far I hadn't said anything he disagreed with. I was calling a couple of his mods out, and now these same mods are calling me names, Judas and all that. Chili's not Christ, dude. I got news for you. And if you worship him like the Christ, then you have just miss me with it, bro.
You're easy.
Look, I'm saying, you can miss me with it. And then my beliefs are my beliefs, and anybody else tries to push any other beliefs on me, we're gonna have a real problem because my core beliefs are serious, and I'm serious about them.
Okay.
That's my conviction. You know, I can't stand that when people try to convince you like that there's no God and stuff like that.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so you know that on like when we're watching Chili's videos, and when he does one of those stupid things that he always says, and especially like when he goes, "Jeff hates pigs." All right, and on my channel, every time he does that, I have to take a bong hit. So how does that work if he's actually in your chat right now? Do I have to like smoke an entire bowl? That's what I'm gonna take it as that. Thank you, Jeff. I'm glad you're here, man. I swear, every time Chili says something weird like that, I'd take a hit off the bowl. When he goes, "What's up, Playboy?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, he's gonna get me ripped tonight." And then he goes, "Jeff hates pigs," and I'm like, "Oh fuck." So now my chat comes in and starts typing in "Jeff hates pigs" to make me hit my bong. So Jeff has become famous. Jeff has become famous. And he's associated with bong rips now. All right, we're going to pull up number 3. Here goes. Get ready for this. Oh, you're going to a link. Oh, no. Am I really? Jiminy Crickets. It starts playing the video before it loads up the page. Just a second here. And all this shit gets done grinding along. Don't ever buy a Packard computer, ever. They're the worst pieces of shit you could ever get.
I don't see a track.
Jeff,
I see it. We're all in this shit together.
Jeff, you're not actually triggered because we made that fucking those silly dolls. You know what? Those silly dolls raised a lot of money for St. Jude's when we auctioned them off. So, you know, there's that.
I saw the receipt, by the way. So
yes, sir. So yeah,
that's
well,
why I do have respect for you. That's why you're on my stream, because whether you like this guy or that guy, I don't. You know what? I don't really like seeing Legicator on YouTube smiling and just. Sometimes it irks me, man. But he's a person too. He's trying to do something in his personal capacity. That's not a cop right there, and he's not doing nothing. My thing is he could be violating code of conduct because I don't know how that works. But I say that shouldn't even be a thing. Like if they want to do something and be good at it or whatever, play guitar on YouTube, whatever. You have the same rights as a human being as anybody else. I don't hold you responsible in your personal capacity. No police officer. But when they're in uniform, and that's when people are afraid of them. That's when they're in uniform. They should not harness that fear and use it as a tool against people. They should respect that people feel that way and try to. Anytime anyone's ever feared me and I felt it, it was a bad feeling. I wanted to make friends with that person and let them know that they could trust me. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you something. Do you like Bob Dylan?
Yeah, a couple songs.
Okay, I just out of curiosity.
Like him as a dude, but his music, I never really.
There's a lot of people, they think Bob Dylan's like he's a genius, right? And he's really great and shit. I can't stand his fucking shit. I can't stand him. I hate fucking Bob Dylan. But you know what? I don't care if you like him. That's fine. And you're not my enemy because you listen to Bob Dylan. You get it? You get it? You see? I hate Bob Dylan's music. You like Bob Dylan's music, but I still am friends with the person that has a differing opinion on something. It's so fucking easy. I don't know why people have to want to live in a goddamn echo chamber. I think that the more diverse the conversation, the more eclectic the collection of people, the better informed and better the conversation is going to be, because you're getting everybody's point of view. Now,
Listen, me and my buddy that I work with, that I dig pools with, he's a real philosophical dude. He is 90 miles a minute, this guy. And he's real smart. He's into quantum physics and all that stuff that I don't really understand. But we argue every day about stuff. Like, he tries to convince me that space is since space is eternal, that there's no other place other than space. And I keep telling him, well, then what if space is leaking in from some other space, or, just to challenge his thinking? And he just shuts it down, man. Like, no, that's impossible. I was like, tell me how it's impossible. I said, where's all these sound frequencies coming from that are creating all these stars, all these points of light in this world of darkness? I said, think about it. Space is a world in itself, and it has to come from somewhere, or these frequencies have to be coming from somewhere outside of space, being fed into space. The energy that it takes these stars to ignite and burn, and the fact that they can burn out just like anything else, tells you that there's energy coming from somewhere that's fueling all this on a more vast scale and a micro scale that you couldn't fathom either one of them. It's just endless. And he wants to convince me that space is all there is. I'm like, I don't think so, man. But we go back and forth all the time. And
made in a Hollywood basement.
You make some good points, and
basement be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. It is, man. It's fucking, there ain't no goddamn space and shit, man. Come on. That's insane. Think about that. Burning gas, a burning ball of gas in a vacuum. Just forever. Just burning.
Think about the space in between the atoms that make up your structure. There's space between everything. Nothing actually touches. Everything vibrates, but nothing touches.
What they've recently discovered is that on that scale, that what they thought was actually a particle, an atom, isn't even anything solid. It's nothing more than a toroidal energy field resonating at varying frequencies. That's all it is. Everything is nothing more than energy, vibration, and frequency. A grand symphony that you experience with 5 senses. That's it. And like we've said on the music show that we do, is that music is nothing more than audible emotion. We resonate with it. Everything.
Hey, let's go ahead and finish this last video, because we're off topic. We can get on that later if you want, but I want to show people this video. I want some opinions on whether or not this is okay. This behavior of an officer is becoming of someone in official capacity with authority over you.
Can they hear it?
Yeah, they can, but I can't. For some reason.
Oops, I just lost my audio.
Hey, Sovereign, I think people are saying they can't hear it. They can't hear the video.
I got it as best as I can. Let me see here. Oh.
I can't hear it at all. I didn't know if there was, maybe it's.
Real quick, Honey Badgeress, welcome to the chat.
Thank you.
Any questions or input, please feel free.
Well, of course, we've gone way far away from what I was originally going to talk about. We were talking about people that are on both sides of the fence.
Okay.
Right.
And so I am both sides of the fence, quite literally. When I was young, I was involved with a very abusive man, very, very abusive. Finally got him out, got him to a different state. Somehow he tracked me down, and I wouldn't answer his calls. I wouldn't answer letters. I wouldn't answer anything. I wouldn't confirm I was there. You know, I'm in hiding at this point because this man had very seriously hurt me. And eventually he sent the police out claiming to be my husband and asked them to do a wellness check. And the police came out and I didn't answer the door. And they said, you can either open the door or we can take the door down, but we're coming in. So I opened the door and they told me why they were there. And I begged these officers. I begged them. I cried. I said, please, 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 do not tell him where I am. Whatever you do, do not tell him where I am. I will give you my parents' information. You can call them and find out that they know exactly where I am and what's going on. He's going to hurt me. Please, please, please don't tell him where I am. And I begged these men. And I sobbed and I cried and I listened as he gave the information out over the radio. And the next day, an airplane landed at my local airport. And I ended up tied down as all 10 of my toenails were removed because that's what I got for trying to run away. And he'd have never found me if the police hadn't told him where I was. I went on to have a child with a police officer and have a wonderful relationship with him and raising our son together, and I couldn't tell you a better person. I, to this day, will walk up to officers or military members that, you know, that I can suss out and thank them for their service and thank them for what they do every day despite that. Those officers were convinced because I know he can convince you that the sky is purple. I know he can, you know. And so whatever lies he told them, they believed they were saving me and that I was really in trouble. But it didn't help me much then. So if anybody's got a right to a grudge against the police, I do.
Absolutely.
And I don't hold a grudge against the police.
Yeah,
Those
because ultimately it's
individuals-
not the police. It's that individual's judgment.
Right.
He
That
made a call,
individual
and
made a bad call.
it's a lot of times it's a man-woman thing because I hate to say this because it sounds like I'm just categorizing people, but a lot of these cops that we're dealing with here, they seem to have issues with women. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. You know, Chili's the same way too. I've noticed on his videos, he mostly targets women to help or whatever. And if that woman has a man that'll speak up for her or that shares the same opinions with her and will say things that she won't say, then it's all out war. It's like, no, and that's just a complete shut door with people like that.
Yeah.
I think maybe it could have been because the guy was a man and the other man believed the man over the woman. But I see a lot of cops that are just really crazy when it comes to women. They treat them like, I don't know. There's got to be something psychological that either being a cop or some kind of training that they put you through creates this, mentally.
This was an older guy. Chris, this is now decades ago. You know, this was not a fresh happening. You know, because I was.
It's known that 40%. I think it's like 40% spousal abuse rate amongst police officers.
Sarah had a sign that said that on it.
That's
when they protest.
The man abusing me was not a police officer.
Keep in mind, that's
he just used the police.
Those are just those that are reported. Okay, you got to always keep that in mind too. So it could actually, in all reality, be higher than 40%. How many of these spouses that are abused are afraid to go to the police because of the blue line brotherhood? They get retaliated against rather than the guy having anything done to him because of that brotherhood issue, that thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I did have a hard time putting any large group lumped together like that.
You know, honey badgers, you know, growing up, I had a dad that was a real rough to live with. He was really abusive, only to me, actually. So, because I had a handicapped brother, it was kind of just like, if he did something, I would get the beatings for it and stuff. And yeah, my dad beat me. I mean, he beat me good as a kid. I had to spend, at one time, I spent 5 hours in a corner, leaned against the corner on my knees with my hands behind my back. That's how my dad would put me in the corner as a kid. He would make me sit on my knees on the kitchen linoleum and in parade rest with my feet together, my toes touching the floor. And, you know, I fell asleep in there one night and I was paralyzed. When I got up the next morning, I can still remember the smell of wet drywall where I fell asleep crying against that drywall. It sucks, man. And then, you know, I wished my dad dead every day. I would stand behind the wall from him when he screamed and ranted and said stupid stuff to me. I would stand behind the wall and just flip him off, you know, and cuss at him and wished he would die. And but when he died, it changed something in me that you know, something
and you felt
left
guilty
me.
for wishing it, right?
Yeah, something left me and something joined me, and they were completely opposites. And that's just one thing that kind of changed the way I think and the way I live and stuff. But
Hi there, Terry.
I never treated my child that way. Probably I didn't discipline my kid enough, because she would literally tell me that she needed discipline, which is something I never hear a kid do.
I think I got the sound issue worked out. I think I might have the sound issue worked out. You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you good, loud and clear.
All right, let me see if you hear this.
Put a number 1 in the chat if you can hear the audio on this video. I'm definitely not hearing.
Nope. I'm not sure what's going on.
It's kind of hard to. It's gonna be kind of hard to do with no sound. Hey, Sovereign, there's no sound, bub. None.
Y'all can't hear that? It's showing up on my microphone. So
nothing.
No, I was thinking maybe I could just put it on my TV. I don't know how good the sound quality would be, but I got a huge TV. Maybe I can put it on the screen and turn the camera toward it and just let people watch it all the way through. I don't know if.
I don't know. For some reason, I mean, I'm showing that the sound's coming through. I don't know what would be preventing it. In fact, I even got my microphone set to be an Omni. Well, now I'm not even. Y'all hear that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. Okay. Yeah.
Fine. I can hear you perfectly.
So I don't understand.
Just when you play the video, it's not coming through for some reason.
Let me just turn this way. I want to figure this issue out. Let me see if you can hear it now. Let me see if it works now.
No.
Wow, that's really weird, man. I don't understand.
So I'll just leave it up to the people in the chat. If they want to see it and actually hear it all the way through, put a 1 in the chat. Let me know and I'll play it so you guys can hear it. It's on my channel. I know some of you might have already seen these videos. There's people that haven't, and they're going to be watching this, and I would like them to see this so I can get an opinion, because I got a lot of people that have subscribed to my channel lately, that weren't really around for all this stuff, you know.
Archangel says it's your sound card, Sovereign.
Huh. Well, I'll have to look into that. Might just be something as simple as having to restart this thing. I've been doing a lot of shit with editing and crap here and didn't restart it. So I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I don't know. Can everybody see this pretty good? Like if I turn it, can you see that pretty good? I can play it right here, and then I don't know. I think the TV is a lot louder.
Maybe we can just flip the view on the
Yeah, we
screen
can.
and put it on TV.
Oh, I'll play them. I only want to play the last two anyway. The last two are the ones that really, you know, you can pretty much see him following us. Basically, you just hear me cussing a little bit, like, "Hey, if he fucking pulls me over, he better have a good reason, man." And I say, "Yeah, I know he's gonna get behind me. Watch, he'll be back around." He circled the block, and then he comes back around. There he is. Whoop-de-doo.
Well, here's an interesting thing on that. Okay, so in Ohio, having a certain type of thing around your license plate is illegal, but isn't illegal in the state. Okay, so we had a similar thing like that.
No, don't get me wrong. I don't know about like the things that you're talking about are from one of Terry's videos. This woman had a plastic guard around her license plate. I didn't have that. My license plate was completely visible. I had a slightly tinted cover over it. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And I see covers 5 times as dark as this one, and these cars drive around, and I don't ever see them pulled over. I mean, I don't know if they get pulled over for it, but there's so many of them, you would think there'd be a lot of pullovers if that's what they were pulling people over for.
Right.
It's not justification as to whether or not they can pull you over. It's the fact that they nitpicked us and pulled us over for it.
Well,
here's nobody else.
The whole thing, and law enforcement should probably know this. Okay, so we had a case that happened here. Every year around the 4th of July, we have here in this town, they have this homecoming. Okay, and people who are from here or who have family here come from all over the U.S. to participate in this. And in this one particular time, a friend of mine's nephew was here from North Carolina. Now, here in Virginia, those bumblebee mufflers were illegal to have on a car. But in North Carolina, they're not. The car was tagged in North Carolina. You also have to have a vehicle inspection on your vehicle here in Virginia. But in North Carolina, you don't either. Keep that in mind.
Right. Like in Nashville, you have to have an emissions test, and in Ironton, you don't.
So the first thing you have to look at is this: is if the car is tagged in another state, if the vehicle is adhering to the vehicle codes of the state for which it is registered and tagged, it's not applicable to those statutes regarding that in the state that is being visited. This is why they have a certain amount of time of you being in, like if you go over to Ohio and you're over there and they say, "Are you living here now?" And you're like, you are living in Ohio, but you're still got your car registered over in Kentucky, right? Well, you have up to like 30 days before you have to change registration over to that. So if you're not a resident, they can't ticket you for little minor shit for that. They tried that on the guy with the bumblebee muffler. It went to court and it got dismissed because of the fact that the car was registered and tagged in North Carolina, and the guy wasn't a resident of Virginia, and therefore, because he didn't have to have a Virginia inspection sticker. If you live in Virginia and have a vehicle, you have to have an inspection sticker on your windshield right there in the corner. You got to have this little okay, so people that come from out of state, do you have one of those? Do you have a Virginia inspection sticker in your windshield, Tim? No, you don't. You don't. No, but you could come visit me without fear of being ticketed for not having the fucking Virginia, right? Okay. Why? Because you don't live here.
Reciprocal agreement that I'm talking about when I'm bringing that up.
Yep.
There is a reciprocal agreement between states that say that as long as you're doing what's legal in your state and you're meeting the driver requirements as far as the BMVs and all that stuff, As long as you're abiding by that in your state, if you drive to another state and they see a discrepancy, something that's not legal in their state, they don't even have the right to really pull you over for it. I mean, they do technically, but they can't harass you and make big deal about it and just sit there. And I give the guy my license, registration, proof of insurance, and he's standing there. And I say, there you go. There's proof. It says on the registration that the vehicle is listed as a tan vehicle with the BMV or with the manufacturer, right? There's nothing in the law that says that I have to report that to the BMV and tell them to fix it. And this idiot is standing in my window telling me, well, I would suggest that you do something, figure this out. Like, my buddy just painted his truck red. Did he have to go to the BMV and tell him about it? I got an old hillbilly buddy that drives a truck that's like 6 different colors. And he's like, I get pulled over for that all the time. They shouldn't be pulling him over. You can paint your car whatever color you want. The only person you have to bring it up to, and you don't really have to, but it's a good idea to let your insurance company know that you changed the color of your vehicle. It's nobody else's business what color you paint your vehicle, no matter what the manufacturer.
This is why I am in such vehement disagreement with all this fucking shit regarding driver's licenses and all that other fucking rigmarole horse shit. Okay.
Look, we feel the same way, but we go get the motherfuckers. We let them extort us. We do it.
When
there was a time when I was like, I don't want to do this, and I tried it, and I got yanked out of my car and slammed to the ground. I tried to stand up and let them cuff me up. Like, first I'm like, get your hands off me, but then my feet come out of the vehicle, and I try to stand up, and I go straight to the ground, just because I said, get your hands off me. You know?
And in the incident that we were looking at on here, let me just ask you a question: Who were you hurting? What did you do?
Nobody.
Anybody?
I mean, actually helping people at that moment. So,
see, that's the whole thing. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you wasting time fucking with somebody over something so stupid? What is that? People don't understand that license plate bullshit. Started out, it was an optional thing, okay, and it was called the Vehicle Theft Protection Act, okay.
Yes, which is voluntary.
You could put the damn thing on your screen or on your car and have that associated with the VIN. And then, of course, if the car was caught stolen, it could be easily recovered. But then again, they turned that into a requirement. And
I had a medical
to put that on there.
In Tennessee, I see people driving around all day long with tinted plates all over Kentucky, where I live, everywhere, and I never see them getting pulled over for it.
I have a special medical
behind me over here. They just don't really care. They get behind me over here. My temporary tags, the ink was smeared on it. You couldn't even read the dates on it. They would get behind me all the time, and I know they're looking at my plates. That's what they do. They're trained to do it. It's like they don't even bother us over here.
Well, I'll tell you,
I'm just saying, we don't have a problem with all cops. Some cops do the right thing. They do what they're supposed to do. You know, they don't go around harassing people. Some of them don't. But there are those that do. And
it's like, hold on, man. There's so many unsolved. Don't you have unsolved? Hey, did you guys know that despite Chili's bullshit, now this is just the last time I looked, but it was at $1,555 we raised for Arizona Jeep Girls Animal Rescue. Is that fucking badass or what? Just with Terry's stream last night on Ironton Auditor. And then and it's also going to probably be featured on Team Skeptic and Irish Demon, and they've got really big audiences. So, hey, fuck you, Chili. You know, you want to go and dick with somebody's doing something good there again, just like with the kids hospital. Turn around and wish bone cancer on kids. And here he is talking about he worried about if they would come and take his dog, and what's he do? Want to shut down a fucking thing that's to help dogs and cats and shit. You know, it's like, wow, what an asshole. This guy just needs to be taken and put in a fucking cell somewhere. That's all. You're going to have to focus that a lot better.
This one here for a minute. I'm going to put this on the TV and turn this up, all right? Let me see if I can get this right. This is really weird. It's all backwards. All right, here we go.
I know. Hey, you can unmirror your... Okay, yeah, that looks like normal to us.
No, let's see. Can you unmirror it? Let's see how you do that.
It's not mirrored. We can... Jeebus, when we were looking at it, it looks normal. right now.
Yeah, but I'm holding it like up to the TV, so it's not really. It's put it like that.
For you.
Let me try to fix the camera real quick.
So there's no hope of me being able to ever teach you the over-the-shoulder trick shot with a mirror. You're never going to be able to do that.
Look, I'm going to pull a chili on this one so people can see this, because I know people are going to watch it later. All right. It's weird trying to hold the camera toward you and then keep it straight and all that, but here we go.
Hey, that looks cool.
Can you hear it? No, to everyone watching. Every single time we come to Ironton, Ohio, we have police officers following us. Every time. Every time. You gotta sit like this for 9 minutes. That's under false pretenses. Held me in jail for 3 days. Told people that I didn't have a bond. They're malicious. Folks.
Looks like you're speeding traffic by your mouth part.
Never seen nothing like it. Oh, he's pulling us up. First off, whoever said looks like I'm speeding, we didn't get pulled over for speeding, pal. So the smart ass little nitpicking, you're probably a cop, but I don't care. We weren't speeding. We have a broken muffler on the car. It's still like that on that car. We have a different car now. Shh, don't tell nobody.
Crack your window.
Hey, what am I being pulled over for?
A couple things, man. There's the cover over your tag.
Mm-hmm.
It obstructs the view of your tag. Over in Ohio, you can't have that. And then also the tag, when I ran it, came back to a tan vehicle.
Yeah, we've had that. We've been pulled over for that before by you guys.
I have?
Yeah.
Yep.
He wants that.
Okay.
Need my license. Or
And
something.
we're from Kentucky. In Kentucky,
We're in the
that's
middle
not
of a
against the
DoorDash.
law.
Okay. Well, it is in Ohio, so.
All right. Shit, I can't keep this thing straight. Need insurance too?
Yeah, I mean, insurance, registration, everything.
So try to adjust the dash cam.
I got a ton of registration. Girl, wait.
You kind of hurry this up. Yeah, see, it says tan on covers are not illegal in Tennessee. We've already had this issue with you guys.
Yeah, but it's a silver car.
Yeah,
We can't help that.
that's not. I mean, that's out of my
We
control.
can't
We
help
bought
that.
it from my cousin's car lotting. Okay, next video. So, Chuck in Tennessee keeps saying something like, if that's illegal in Kentucky, the tinted tag covers are illegal in Kentucky. Okay, so if it's tinted and it's illegal, then there has to be a certain level of tint that they go by. It's not just all I've seen just about every car around has got tinted plates around here. You'd think that if it was illegal, people would get pulled over for it every day, all day, but they don't. They don't. Trust me.
Is the date on that? Am I seeing? Is that the correct date on that video? That's 2017, right? Tim, I can't hear you. We have no video. No.
That was a discrepancy on the dash cam because she hadn't set the date on the dash cam. That's completely wrong. And The
So,
date of the incident is on the video title on YouTube.
okay, so I'm going to look on there just so I can see. I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's March the 3rd, 2020, wasn't it? 2019. It was March the 3rd of this year.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
Saying, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, well, why'd you run my tags in the first place?
I can run your tag anytime I want to run your tag.
Oh, I thought you were supposed to radio your supervisor.
I don't have to radio my
Because nothing against you, man, but every time we come to Ironton,
right?
They don't want your sound coming out, Tim. I don't hear a damn thing.
Is he still? We're on a DoorDash. We're working.
but there's the proof that the registration says. Here, let me fix this.
That's fine. You know, I'm not.
Let me fix this because I think you couldn't hear that. Here you go. Sorry. It's caused a lot of problems.
Why is it called problem?
I mean, well, you see these cameras here?
Yeah.
These were put here for a reason. The last time I got pulled over in Ironton, I got yanked out of my car, slammed to the ground, and I've got a lawyer working on that. But
let me ask you something.
it just seems to be like guys court-appointed lawyers or something.
Okay. Well, give me this.
Being a piece of shit. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get back to work here.
Is he still? We're on a DoorDash. We're working.
But there's the proof that the registration says tan on it.
That's fine. You know, I'm not debating that. Okay.
He said there's something about having trouble.
Well, what I'm going to do is, I'm guessing the reason you got pulled out of the car the last time you was here, and this is a strict guess, but
it doesn't matter. That's not this time. That was last time.
Because you either A, refused to get out of the vehicle when you was out.
Oh, I refused to ID. That was
okay.
Because he had no good. Well, the officer followed me all the way across. What it was, he was parked at a car wash. As soon as he seen our car, he jumped out, followed us clear across town, waited for us to turn, and then when we turned, he said we didn't use our turn signal 100 feet prior to the turn.
Which is
we proved that wrong, though. We went and literally measured the spot where he said we used our turn signal. Now, at this point, I had already been to court for this incident that I'm telling him about. I had already been to court for this for, 4 months? We had actually just had the case dismissed. My lawyer actually did something. Sarah's lawyer tried to offer her jail time simply for not talking, for telling them that she wasn't going to give them any information, but she has the right to do. So there's that. I'm not, 187 feet. I was held in jail for 3 days, and they told my family that I didn't have a bond, which was a lie. I'm just saying, if it was you, wouldn't you? I mean,
we're not breaking the law.
We're not
unfortunately
engaged in any criminal activity or.
Unfortunately, you committed a couple
just don't argue with him. We just need to get back to work. So.
Traffic violations on just your vehicle. So that is the law. You are breaking the law.
Well, how can we fix it? Do I need to take it off my?
Well, I would suggest that. Yes.
Okay.
I would suggest that. And I would also suggest you go figure out what's going on with your.
Well, we're still paying on the. I'm sorry, man.
Because, like I said, if I run your tag and it comes back to a tan card,
right,
which it does.
Sir, that's an objective opinion. People have different opinions about that color.
No, it's not, sweetheart. Listen, it's something. There's some kind of mistake on the registration. We bought the car,
but we can't help that.
Registration.
Well,
I don't know.
What I'm saying is, I would suggest. If you ask what you could do.
All right, she's going to pull the other one up on the phone here so we can watch it because the next one gets really good. Oh. That was number 3. So that was number 3, and the next one is the last one. This is where she gets yanked out of the car by the guy that took my wallet.
give you suggestions, so I would suggest you to shut up. Shut
Um,
up. Just don't say it. Just shut up. I'm not talking.
okay.
Lawful order.
That is a lawful order.
I thought we could
Okay.
speech.
What we do, with her keep bumping in
I get it. Yeah.
and obstructing my investigation of my
Right.
traffic stop.
Lisa, give it up, man. Just give it up. I'm not going to block you from my channel, but it really disgusts me the way you're taking up for this puke. It really does. You know, I don't judge you, but give it up. He's being an asshole. He's treating a member of the public like a freaking dog. And now when you see what happens next, I want to see you take up for this. All right?
If he's trying to give you legal advice, he's not allowed to do that.
Thing. That's one thing. But what he's doing is barking unlawful orders to my fiance, telling her to shut up like she's a dog.
Yeah,
because he don't know how to treat women.
No, that's
this
not.
This dude is half her age and don't know how to treat a woman. Period. That's, you know, I've always been taught respect growing up. That's just me.
or anything. Or anything. Listen, I've worked in the service sector myself, and if a customer or starts to become belligerent or wants to overtalk me, I'm not allowed to tell them shut the fuck up or anything else like that. That's unprofessional as all hell. It don't matter what
says in their policy and their code of conduct that they have to treat members of the public with the utmost respect and to build trust in the community. Not this shit. This is what they do when they want you to be afraid of. And if Lisa takes up for this behavior, she can bounce like a Nerf ball because I don't do that. We're being honest here. We're not taking up for people with biased opinions. We're being totally, brutally honest. That's what I want on this channel. I don't want one side or the other. I don't take up for Chili because he's full of shit half the time. And I won't take up for Terry sometimes. And I won't take up for Legislator because sometimes I see things I don't agree with. Right. But to see someone take up for the kind of behavior that we're about to see is really, really just the kind of character that I don't even want around me.
Well, I see. No, I'm looking at this. All right, look, I'm looking at this from a neutral standpoint. No, I don't think the cops should talk that way. I don't give a shit how that goes down. But also on the same token, y'all trying to talk at him at the same time is going to confuse the hell out of him. But that being said, he's supposed to be a trained professional. I had a cop act the exact same, only worse.
Listen, Dave, I want you to understand something really quick though, so that'll help you understand where we're coming from on this stop. I have Tourette's. I have a hard time holding my tongue. I'm the one driving. He's talking to me. He's trying to talk to me. She's talking over us both. But she's trying to offer information as the owner of the vehicle because she knows things that I don't know about the vehicle. She's telling him. She knows things that I don't know about Kentucky. Now, either way, her interrupting, she has panic attacks because of these dudes already. Okay, she's already been through stuff with these guys that have caused her post-traumatic stress. That's a fact. Okay, and she's already been suffering from neuropathy at this point. Her hands swell up. They get numb every morning. She has a hard time getting the feeling back in them. They hurt. I got to deal with, and I'm just letting you know where we're coming from because by the time this happened, this is like stop 6 out of 7. And we only have 5 of them on film. Okay. And this is, like I said, it's unbecoming of a person that is supposed to create respect for himself from the public. That's part of his job. They tell him to do that, but none of them do it. They gang together like a bunch of little bully punks from high school, and they gang up on people they don't like, and they pick on them. And what you're about to see is them picking on her big time. I know you've probably seen this already.
So what I was saying is when I was over in Boulder, it happened in Boulder City, Nevada, coming back from the Vegas airport. And I had just gone there and picked somebody up from the airport, and we're coming through that area to get back to where I live. You had to go all the way through Death Valley. And this motherfucker pulls us over. I was speeding, but I ended up not getting a speeding ticket. That was what was so crazy. Because it was a 4-lane road and it had gone down to like 30 miles an hour or 25 miles an hour. And it's like, are you shitting me? I didn't even see the sign for it. But anyway, he pulled us over and my wife didn't even say anything. And then she was like, he asked her, he says he was asking her for her ID. And she's like going, hang on just a minute. She was sleeping and she woke up and she's like, what the hell is going on? He's like, shut the fuck up. And the way he started talking, I'll tell you what, if he'd been anybody else, I would have clocked his ass. I'm serious. He would have been all done. But this little asshole.
And realize that when she's talking over him, Dave, it's because he's saying things like, you are breaking the law. And she's saying, how? And he's saying, well, you've committed 2 traffic offenses already. Well, like I said, she knows about the reciprocal agreement. He doesn't. He's an officer. He's supposed to know. How does a citizen know more about the law than the cop? Why is it that as soon as he hears her talking, he loses his cool so much that he can't even get a grasp of the English language?
Well, no,
I don't like being talked over to. That's not even like. Did the wife keep bumping on me, and I don't like being talked over to? Come on, man. This is a grown ass man that can't even talk straight because he's so pissed off that this woman's talking when he's talking.
I'm not a big fan of that either. I'm not a big fan of that either.
I'm doing my investigation of my traffic.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
We are de-escalating. I'm telling you what's going on. Okay. I don't like being interrupted. I don't like trying to be talked over to. What you're trying to do right now, what she is doing. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. What's going to happen? Yeah, because of how you guys are acting. So
we're not acting in any way. I'm just asking questions.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm telling you to hush and listen to me. I want you to take your seatbelt off. You're coming back here, me and you're going to talk like men.
Like men.
Your wife, you know. I told you once, shut up.
Okay.
I told you once, shut up.
All right,
shut
stop.
up.
So that's
No, sir, no, sir. She's not breaking any law.
She's done obstructed me twice.
Sir.
After being told her.
Listen, she's talking. She's trying to get the law.
If I give her a law order, shut up.
But she said, I apologize.
I'm telling you to get out.
Answer, open the door.
Who was talking to us, sir?
No, I said step out here.
Okay.
Just say what? Just do what he says.
Right there.
Face away. What's wrong with
Away?
this? Yeah. Transpire back. What's wrong with this right there?
Yes, sir. Why are you doing this? This is a traffic stop. For what?
okay. I couldn't figure out what's wrong with the remote. So just so you know, she was trying to apologize to him right here, and he's telling her to shut up for apologizing.
She's talking. She's trying to get the law.
If I give her a law order, shut up.
But she said, I apologize.
I'm telling you to get out.
Answer, open the door.
Pause that. Pause
No,
that.
I don't step out.
Pause that.
Okay.
Just say what? Just do what he said.
Right there.
Can you just?
Yeah, there.
Away?
Yeah. Transpire back. Put your hands behind your back.
Yes, sir. Why are you doing this?
Yes, sir. No, sir. I apologize.
For what?
For obstruction and failure to comply of a lawful order is what he says. So now I want to know, Lisa, is shut up a lawful order?
That's what I was
I'm
going
waiting
to
for
say.
this answer because this answer is going to depend. It's going to decide whether or not I just block this chick from my channel. That's how angry I get when she takes up for this kind of behavior.
Hold up.
All cops
Block-
aren't the same.
Listen, that blocking shit. That
I
blocking shit.
understand.
Hold
I
on.
understand.
Everybody
I wanna
needs
see
to
what she said.
chill out with the goddamn blocking shit. To me, that's like a little kid going, you can't see me anymore. All right. Now, yes, you are correct. Shut up is not a lawful order. Neither is sit on the ground. Neither is don't look at what I'm doing. Those are not lawful orders. Those are wishes. Those are nothing more than strongly worded requests. Those are personal demands. Okay? And that's how they
She
come.
claims that she has no idea what a lawful order is, but yet all day long she adds her 2 cents to every single thing that happens, and she knows everything about it. All of a sudden, she don't know.
For
This chick,
instance,
come on, she's
well,
insufferable.
insult. Maybe she doesn't know. I mean, we know that people have been brought up in a society where they have been
Now, listen,
trained.
now you insult people and you make fun of people on your channel. I can do it on mine.
Oh, I
I'm
know.
just
But
saying,
I'm just going in her defense because look, all right,
I'm making fun of her for being a deal with. So just
a
understand
lot
where I'm coming from.
people are
I'm
programmed.
not threatening to smack her or none of that shit. I'm just telling her she's stupid if she thinks that is the correct behavior for any gentleman, law officer, any whatever.
When he confirmed everything matched the way it was
Once-
supposed to be.
Yeah, listen
The
to Sarah.
stop
She's
should've
smart.
No, I'm not that smart, evidently.
She's smart. You're
But what
smarter
I
than
was
that
going to
ass
say
clown.
is, at the point in which he had the license, registration, insurance, and found that everything matched and there's no criminal activity going on, the traffic stop should have ended right then and there. No more questions asked. Okay, now they know.
Now,
Everything's legit. But
now
no,
we have something that we want to share because you have a screenshot of the law, the suspicion thing. You still have it. It's on your phone. Now she has something that she dug up today out of the Ohio law books, and out of it could be out of date, but I don't think it is. That talks about suspicion, and kind of like how when you're a male and you're driving the female's car and it's in the female's name, and the cop runs the tags and says, "Oh, the driver of this vehicle has a suspended license," right? The minute he walks up to the windshield and sees that it's not the female driving, he has to end the traffic stop. He's not allowed to ask that dude for his driver's license because he has no reasonable suspicion that guy wouldn't have it. Therefore, the premise for the pullover in itself goes away. But they won't let that go away. They're going to do something regardless. They come up to your window. They want that ID. It's like crack cocaine to these people.
Let me ask you something. What was that thumping I heard? Was that the cop hitting the top of your car?
Yeah, that was McKnight beating on the window, threatening to break the window in because she had her door locked. He didn't like the fact that we had our doors locked. But
So wait a second. Hold on. Did he try to open the door and then discovered it was locked and then this happened?
Yeah.
Well, where did he have authority to open that fucking car at all? Where did he even have the authority to touch the fucking car?
All he knew was that Blankenship said, now he came over the radio. You can't hear this unless you go and watch it on the channel. But he says the Blankenship gets on his radio and radios his sergeant, which is McKnight, which is the dude that stole the wallet and also the dude that told him to watch out for our car. Because if he ever seen our car, to pull us over and find a reason to radio him so he can come get revenge on her for telling all the other cops that he stole my wallet. That shit embarrassed him. He was in front of all these other cops. And she's like, "I watched you pick it up." And he sat there and denied it like, Like, come on, man. And this is the only problem I have with these guys is that they're kids and they're acting like punks. It's not even about them being cops anymore. It's just, I have cops that are friends, literally. So Lisa, I can totally see your side of things, but you can't just blindly. That's that team thing we're talking about. You do it a lot, Lisa. You talk about there's no wrongdoing you see a cop acting blatantly disrespectful and talking to a woman like a piece of trash, and then you see another cop with no idea what's going on. All he knows is that the guy said we might potentially be some kind of a problem. And he comes zooming down a one-way street with his siren on, and I ask in the video, whoa, what's he coming down the one-way like that? Dude, he could have went around that block, and there was no emergency that was going to stop him from getting there in time. That made him have to put people's lives in danger coming down a one-way street like that. He was literally turned on the block. He could have went one down. Every other block's a one-way, and every block's like a half a block in Ironton. So it's just a short little distance. He could have went and circled around. He went down the one-way because he wanted to get cuffs on this one. You can see it if you watch the front dash camera video. It's on the channel as well. It's called McKnight Goes Down a One-Way Street to Put Cuffs on Sarah. And I asked Blankenship, why is he going down a one-way street? He says, because of how y'all are acting. We were talking. We weren't acting at all. We were talking.
I know.
Actions require movement.
When the police report from my thing in Kingman, it's funny as shit to read what the cop wrote. He said that he observed me going by at a high rate of speed, right? And then he said that I was doing 98 or 78 in a 75. Or no, 79 in a 75. That's what it was. 79. 79. And he saw me. And in the report, it said that he saw me driving by in a rigid position. Now, I want you to think about that. You're sitting there looking at traffic. There's cars going by. You notice one nondescript vehicle. But not only that one nondescript vehicle that's going the same rate of speed as everybody else, you actually had time to note the position and manner at which the driver was driving in a rigid position. Really? This guy should write for, fucking TV or some shit, is what I was thinking. That ended up being such a bunch of bullshit anyways. That's all right. Beth Rist knows all about it. She's said she's got everything about me. And I'm like, yeah, well, let me know if you're missing anything, because I've been very open about the shit that I've been in trouble for. No big. She's wanting to make a big deal now. She said that because I'm a felon. No, I was a felon. Okay. I was a felon. I am no longer.
That's the thing with Sarah and I. And I want to share this with everybody that's going to see this. Sarah and I both have a colorful past. I was addicted to pain pills. I had a bad opiate addiction from probably about the age of 18 to about the age of 26. I got arrested for drug trafficking for selling my prescription pills to my neighbors because they constantly hounded me to sell them to them. And I got busted for it. A chick that was a really good friend of mine would beg me to sell her pills, and I would sell them to her, and she wore a wire on me 3 times. Yeah. So, yeah, I got what I deserved. I went to prison. I did almost 5 years in there. I came out a different person. I stayed to myself. I found hobbies. I worked out, I didn't join any gangs. I worked on myself, and I got out. Now I'm a different person than I was then. If a cop sees that I have a prior record and he decides that he thinks that this is his indicator, okay? This is Akers' indicators when he said he was doing his drug interdiction and he saw us and he had indicators. His indicators were, I got a prior, and the car came back, or she's got a prior. Her prior is she got a $50 bill from a Dollar General as change, spent it at a gas station literally right down the street, and they called the cops. She did 18 months in a federal pen for having a fake $50 bill that she didn't even know was fake. So tell me how that's fair. And they made an example out of her. They didn't give her a chance. I mean, it's not like she was the one making them and passing them around to everybody. They looked real. They were really from what I hear, there was a money ring that were making fake bills, and they were fooling a lot of people. Cops were really onto these people. And she caught the butt of that because she got caught with one of the bills. But, dollars get passed around. That's how that works. Sometimes you don't know it's fake. I had a fake $10 bill that I saw as fake. I caught it. Luckily, I didn't try to spend it somewhere, or I didn't know and I spent it. I would probably have a charge for that.
They're all fake.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There's nothing to represent almost all of them. I don't. Yeah. From what I think, I don't think there's no gold in Fort Knox.
That cop acted, I think, very unprofessionally. I do. Like the one in Arizona, he just came over to my passenger side, and I thought he was coming up to the driver's side because I gave him plenty of room to come up there. And next thing I know, I look over to my right, and he taps on the glass. I was like, oh. So I went to go roll down the window, and as soon as I start to go roll down the window, this motherfucker just opens the goddamn door.
Well, right before this happened, his brother Blankenship, and this is why I think that this guy in particular had a problem with us already. The other guy I caught, we literally watched him pick a wallet up that wasn't his and wouldn't give it back. He straight just stole my wallet, and I had to let him get away with it because he's a cop. Okay. The other guy, Blankenship, his brother had just pulled Sarah over under some false shit. Get this, David. If you're coming down, say you've got a main street, right? And then you have an avenue that goes to the next street, right? You have these side streets and these streets, and they're all one ways. She's turning off the main street. She turns right. She turns right onto this one way, right? The cop sees her car from the back. He passes. He goes down the next block, comes down, and he's on the left side of her vehicle, and he tries to tell her that she didn't use her right turn signal. Mm-hmm. So she called him on it. There's no way he could see her right turn signal because he's coming down the same one way she's turning down.
Well, was there
a lot of sense, but he's too stupid to see it.
I've actually had a cop tell me that if there's nobody behind you or in front of you, you don't even have to use your fucking signal. I mean, you run into a lot of situations. Let's say you come to a 4-way stop, right? And you're going to make a right-hand turn. There's nobody anywhere in sight. Do you have to use your signal? Who in the fuck are you signaling to? Yourself?
If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound?
Yeah, I mean, good God. That's just some of the fucking, that's what I'm saying. They want to picayune that kind of shit. And it is bullshit. They don't need to be dicking with people for that. Let's face it. Ironton and Lawrence County have a lot of unsolved fucking shit that needs to be addressed and looked at. And I think time could be well better spent other than that kind of bullshit that's going on. That's just my opinion. And that goes with everywhere. I see a lot of useless shit that they do and wasted time over nonsense like that. And it chokes up the court system. And of course, it ends up very quickly that you see that it's nothing more than revenue generation on the municipal level. And it sure as hell doesn't seem that any of that is going back into the community. I've watched Cherry drive around on those god-awful fucking roads. Are you shitting me? I had a Jeep going through there and I felt like I was off-road. I'm not shitting you. So that's some shit that needs to be addressed. Another thing too is you can't go on with a bunch of shit that you can't substantiate, right? For instance, someone we all know was complaining about the fact that I was a felon and that I have firearms, and I've been on camera showing some of my firearms. Not understanding that I am no longer a felon. I am allowed to have firearms. And in fact, Terry and I went shooting with a very eclectic group of men and my wife. And some of those cops, some of them were cops. One guy
on that,
he dispatched.
in Ohio, it's a thing. I don't know how it is in Virginia. And if
I've
I
never
had a chance to
had a felon.
inspect this, if I would have known about that, I would have said, well, it's like this. In Virginia, maybe it's not like that, but in Ohio, they say that anytime you've ever had a felony here, if it's on your record, if you have a felony against you at all, you can't own a firearm from there on out. You're done.
Yeah, see,
now if you have that felony expunged, maybe I think that
you can do that.
But
see, in Michigan,
you can legally own one. You just can't buy one. But if they catch you with it, they're going to charge you for a gun spec for having a gun when you have a felony.
Well, that's already been taken care of. You see, in fact, that's what my gun charge here was actually over. Okay. We had gone to a gun show, and here in Virginia, if you buy from an FFL, a licensed firearms dealer, you have to go through the NICS, with the background check system. But if you go through a private sale, like for instance, if I went, hey, TJ, you want to buy my 308? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, you give me the money. There you are. Now you own the 308 I used to have.
You can sell it to me legally or lawfully, whatever. Yeah. But I can't go to a gun shop and buy it because they're going to do that background check.
So now at gun shows, what you have is both FFL dealers that are pretty much promoting their store at this place. Usually they hold it at a fairgrounds or something. But you also have private dealers that are selling a range of everything from antique guns all the way up to modern day AR-15s and shit, right? So it's all mixed together. So at this one particular time, this one dealer that I saw had two particular rifles that I wanted to buy. And I decided, okay, I'll get them brand new with the warranty and everything else like that. I'll get both of them, right? So I filled out all the paperwork. Next thing I know, the state police come up to me and they're giving me some shit and they arrest me. And I was like, what is this for? And they said, oh, it's because of a felon and you have a felony and you're trying to buy a firearm. And I'm like, I've never had this problem before. I don't understand. Well, what had happened was I missed a box on the fucking form. And so he says, well, and also you skipped this over here and it's you're required to provide that information. I was like, well, shit, no, put the check in there. I just missed it. I'm sorry. But it wasn't good enough. So anyway, what had happened, what they don't know is the felony I had was actually in Michigan. And in Michigan, if you have a nondescript felony, right, which is nonviolent, mine was a third offense DUI. After 3 years, and I have the statute in I have a book on that whole thing because that went to circuit court, man. That went up there. And 3 years after your sentence is served and your probation is up and all your fines are paid, your rights are automatically fucking restored. Boom.
Look at this comment right here, Sovereign. This now, Lisa, I believe, is someone who's driven in Ironton because every time I go over there, I get pissed off at how God, fix these fucking streets. Like,
Yeah.
I get road rage just from the roads, not even from the other cars.
I know off road, at
Where's
least
all this money going that they're pulling all these people over? They're making all this money for the city. Where's it all going to if they're not fixing the street or the town? They're building
least-
hotels though.
I
And,
agree.
you can go to any one of those hotels and see like 20 cars from Florida at any given time. So
Off-road is
Ask the question
definitely
about that.
smooth. Off-road is definitely smoother, I gotta say. Yeah, absolutely. But see, so she's on there talking about that, oh, he's not supposed to have guns and all this other fucking bullshit. And I'm like, you idiot. When Terry was here, when we went shooting, we were with some sheriff's deputies, the 911 dispatcher guy, another hippie friend of mine, my wife, and then just a couple other good old boy redneck guys that I know. And we had a hell of a time, you know? So there's that. I was actually, you know, I'm not supposed to have guns in. I'm hanging out with sheriff's deputies. My next door neighbor and I talk guns all the time. You know, come on. He's a fucking sheriff's deputy. It's like, know what the fuck you're talking about. And you know who I'm talking about.
My thing is on that is who cares? Like, for one, if you got to pass, you got to pass. Look, just given the charges that I've heard, okay, and this is because Miss Beth has Beth, you know, I call her Miss Beth. I'm a respectful person like that. But Miss Beth, she's got something against you now, right? And so now her opinion is biased. It's just like you know, you might not like her. Now she's just
she tried to make herself a victim in a situation where she was clearly in the wrong. And I don't like that.
She was in the wrong in some instances, but then there were things also happening that were way more wrong, I would say.
There are, but it doesn't matter. Wrong is wrong is wrong. The lesser of two evils is nevertheless it's still evil.
But
and
the things that she claims were, you know, if they're true, they're way worse than any petty little stuff that.
Here's a pattern. Here's a pattern that I've noticed. Okay, everything seems to be because of sexism. Okay, I got news, man. The 80s called. They want that tired fucking argument back. Okay, nobody is giving you shit because you're a woman. Okay, you want to turn it into that and be a victim. Okay,
maybe now, but
she's
some
still
of the things
she claims it because I called her out and I asked her. I said, "Wait a second, if you
that's this. I don't see. I haven't gotten in the middle of this stuff because I don't see. I just think it's kind of silly. Really, you know.
I just called it out like I see it. Right. If you're actually
like me going after Lisa here, you know, she pisses me off, so I'm gonna get after this.
If you actually are on a guy's live stream and being blackmailed by Chili in real time via text while you're on the live stream with Terry, and you're not even talking about the motherfucker. And then the next time he goes live, I go into and I'm watching, and here comes Beth Rist putting fucking super chats. Now, wait a second. He was just blackmailing you live. We watched it happen, and you're turning around and supporting him. What the fuck kind of hypocrisy is that? Her comments all reflect that I'm against her because she's a woman. No, I'm against you because you did dishonest shit, and you're trying to make like it was a good thing. Like you had the right to do those dishonest things. You did not. You did not. If you lie on police reports, if you admit to lying on police reports, Your testimony can no longer be trusted because any case you're involved in, the defense is going to call your credibility into question. You're useless. And you've already proven, even if you were trying to help someone because you know them or you like them or whatever the reason, if you're trying to help someone, then that tells me that you would also go to the lengths of trying to harm someone because you don't like them, that you would be willing to fabricate evidence in lieu of doing something bad to someone. That's what it looks like. You're muted, Tim. Tim, you're muted.
Yeah, I know. I was telling Sarah to put check on one of these comments because it looked like a little bit of.
Oh. So I'm just, calling that out. Now whether or not whatever her other little personal issues are, that's all well and good. But I'm saying, you sat there on the council for all those years in a position where you were in a position to be able to do something, to bring awareness to this shit. And you say, oh, you couldn't because you were afraid. You had the people that voted for you behind you, I'm sure. I think it more comes down to a case of
I don't think Miss Beth was afraid. I don't think that she was afraid of them. She was afraid of them. She wouldn't have sued them and filed a lawsuit. I think that she didn't want to stir up a stink because they're all part of this little kind of system where they keep their secrets safe. And but the guys that she was on the force with, city council, maybe you're right about that. But the guy she was on the force with, that stuff was a little different.
Well, here's another
thing. You're right. Thing. It's probably because she didn't want to, piss everybody else. She said, it's that team thing we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, she wanted to pull this whole, victim bullshit about that. Now, I don't know about the other, but here's the thing. She wanted to go and say, well, I saw Chad Goo one time smash a guy's head while he was in handcuffs. And I'm like, wait a second.
I didn't want to get into all that here. I didn't want to talk about Miss Beth and Chili and all that.
I'm saying, you were talking about Ironton police corruption and how a superior allows something like that to happen. So you're telling me you stood there and witnessed this fucking shit while you were his superior?
When I heard she fixed the ticket, right? Is that what happened, or am I wrong? Did she fix the ticket so that?
I understand she had somebody else come to receive the ticket to take the place of the person who was driving the car. But because she marked on the ticket that the car had no insurance, this person that came to be a stand-in for the driver lost their driver's license for operating a motor vehicle without insurance. And that's why they came out and told about it.
Well, I didn't know if anybody was harmed by that. I thought that was I thought it was a thing where this chick got pulled over, and so that the chick didn't lose her car or go to jail or get her car impounded, that Beth let the ticket go or something like that. No. That's, you got to read the entire thing. I've got the court documents and shit. She told me to look it up. I looked it up. I've read the transcripts. The thing, this is how she got caught. Is because she gave the ticket to this other girl who wasn't driving so that the car wouldn't be. Somebody got a ticket. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't just a dismissal of a ticket to let somebody off the hook. Because I've been pulled over by Beth before, and she let me off the hook because I was a nervous wreck. She told the other cop, don't even mention jail to this guy. You know what I mean? I thought that was the case here. So,
although there's no proof, it has been brought to my attention that the woman she had pulled over was actually drunk too. So that's another reason.
I can't say that I know who that woman is. Beth says she doesn't know that woman. I know who that woman is.
Then why would you give them a break like that? Why would you go to those lengths that would even jeopardize your job? Come on.
I know her daughters and stuff.
I don't know.
I just don't know. What I'm saying is
she stepped back. She was part of the corruption until the corruption turned on her, or it didn't work in her favor. And then she tried to use the victim card to say that was, how it worked. No, look, I'm looking at this in a pattern of behavior, and I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just looking at actually what happened. If you were a superior officer or a supervisor as a sergeant, and you witnessed one of your subordinates commit this act of abusing a prisoner who was handcuffed, and you did absolutely nothing about it, you're even worse than the person that did it, because it's your job to correct your subordinate. It's your job to train that subordinate. It's your job to weed out the bad cops. Did you do it? No, because you were comfortable in your position. And as long as
she
you
was a sergeant, she did end up becoming a sergeant later down the road. I do know that. I think it was toward like the end of her career, wasn't it, or something like that?
well,
See, I didn't know her through all that. I know she was nice to me when I got pulled over and all the other cops wanted to take me to jail. Beth was all honey, sweetie, being real respectful. She was the only one not being a prick and trying to take me off in a freaking handcuffs. You know, so maybe I have a biased opinion when it comes to Miss Beth, because, like I said, I've known her for a long time, and she's always been respectful, always been a good person that I know of. I've never heard her.
That's what she did. What she did there was not officer discretion. Officer discretion would be whether to give the guy like a warning or not, right? Or depending on the severity of what they're doing. But officer discretion isn't like, hey, oh my God, this person just accidentally killed somebody and this will be their third strike. So come over here and act like you were the one that did it instead. That's not an officer discretion shit, that kind of thing. You can't fuck with evidence. You can't fuck with a case. You can't falsify shit, even if it's to be in someone's favor. If your intentions are good.
What? I'm going to agree. I'm going to listen before you get too carried away. I'm going to agree with you on that, because, you know, that's the same thing that Akers did to us when he, on the CVS thing or whatever. Yes, I was in the wrong because my beliefs told me that, fuck you, I'm going to tell you I don't have a license, and let's see how it goes from there. Because at that time, I'd been reading up on a lot of things, and I had liked the idea of everything I was reading. You can call me a sovereign citizen if you want. I don't think that there's a such thing, because you're either, it's like this, dude. Am I a citizen? First of all, what are the requirements of being a citizen? I stand up for the truth. I don't go along with rules that I think are unjust. Like that, you know, like people say that there's no such thing as a victimless crime. Okay, but there are exceptions to that, I think. Only because common sense comes into play when I start thinking like that. Is there an exception to that? Yes. What if you're driving drunk? A drunk driver? Just literally, my ex-stepdaughter was just killed by a drunk driver, her and her boyfriend. And that has nothing to do. I've been saying this for a long time. Yeah, that may be a victimless crime, but it's a potential victim in the near future. And more than likely, statistically shows you that probably there will be a victim. So that's an exception. There are exceptions when it comes to victimless crimes, I think. Do I want to delete fucking laws? No, I don't want to delete laws. I want to delete some of the fucking procedures and some of the mentalities that they teach these dudes in police academy.
You can't delete
maybe laws. Teach them some humanity.
Laws cannot be deleted. Legislation can. Edicts.
Right. And that cannot be converted into a privilege.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
So I was thinking too, I remember something in the story about the Beth thing, just throw it out here. There was like something to do with the chief was supposedly like threatening somebody, threatening the I guess the girl was like she was threatening the girl to file a complaint, or like that she was telling the girl, you better file a complaint against her, something like that.
I don't know. It sounds like a big train wreck, but the bottom line is that,
they threatened to take the girl's kids away if she didn't file a complaint against Beth, or something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just thinking, when it comes to facts and the truth, I'd form a better opinion if I knew all the facts, like everything. That's why that's why we feel guilty for the whole thing because we didn't know everything about the dude. He was genuinely trying to help people.
Look at all the convoluted shit that happens from lying. You see, that's all the convoluted shit. This one lie blew up into all that other fucking bullshit. You see? Same thing with Chili.
Which lie are we talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about the initial lie that got Beth fired. That right there in itself caused a lot of fucking bullshit right there. And what for? And what for? You see, am I glad that she's no longer a police officer? Yes, because what I found is she's not very smart. I mean, I'm sorry, she's just not at all. I actually had to tell her what a constituent was, and she was an elected.
That's your personal beef. We're talking about somebody that I'm actually friends with, that I respect.
I'm just saying, it's like, wait a second. I
just don't want you to like turn my stream into a Beth hating frenzy.
No. My point was
like a chili hating frenzy thing, because I wouldn't let you do that with Miss Beth.
My point is this: is that just as dangerous as a bad cop is a stupid cop. You would have to agree. I've watched some videos where these cops, they show them the fucking statute right there. The cop will look it up and read it and still go, no, whatever.
Yeah, because they can't see past their ego.
Because they can't see past their ego. Just
right.
Okay. Listen, I don't want to sit and talk about somebody that I would have to explain to them later. Look, man, okay, I had to tell the truth. But Miss Beth does have an ego. She has the ego of a cop. Somewhere down there, I think she still has finds some kind of respect out of being a cop. I think she's
through a lot though.
Gotta take.
She still looks at herself as a cop.
That's her problem. That's her problem. She's looking inward. Too much inward focus and not enough outward focus. This is something you have to do. You have to look through.
What would I do in that situation? I would talk to her and say, Miss Beth, this is what I see. And 9 times out of 10, she's a really receptive person. Even if it's me, I'm younger than her. What do I know, right? But I give her some advice. Hey, maybe you're looking inward.
Look,
I think she'd take a look at it.
I gave her all the opportunity in the world. I said, look.
Yeah, I would approach her differently. That's why I would get the results. You know what I mean?
I said, look, I'll go live immediately. If you get a bug in your ass and go, I want to tell my fucking story, you just text me. I'll set up a live and say, go. I don't give a fuck what time of the day or night. You go for it. You have an open platform with me, right? And I think
the things that she's pointing out on her channel, I think those things need to be pointed out. If they're true, they need to be pointed out. And for that reason alone, I'm not going to sit and just turn people against somebody and keep saying negative things about them, even though I believe it. Even if I believe it. I haven't sat here and talked about Chili this whole time. I bring him up because
he's a good example.
A lot of things that are happening right now are because of that man coming here and stirring the shit pot.
Well, he's a good example.
They blame us for that shit.
He's a great example. He's a great example for, look, here's some fucked up behavior. Don't be a Chili.
He displays the behavior of a tyrant.
Oh my God.
I saw that the minute I met the guy.
I think they're on to something with this. Okay. I think that somebody just did a video on it that I believe that he wanted to be a cop, but he couldn't. He didn't have that. He didn't have the IQ.
Did he actually sign up? Is there proof? Can we get some kind of proof on that?
I would like to know even if there were just like even aspirations as a young boy or anything, because it would fit to. From what I've been told by people that went to school with him, despite his claims of being cool, he was more like Screech. This is what the people that went to school with him have told everybody. He was more like Screech on Saved by the Bell. And I'm sure that he was probably picked on and bullied. And that's the type of person that really will try to go and want to be a cop, and only for that reason. There are those kind, and I'm sure we've run into them, that they were picked on, and now they're going to get that badge, and they're going to get back at everybody that bullied them. And this is not anything new. This is nothing new. And I do believe that. I would like to find out. But you know why he went so ballistic on Arizona Jeep Girl?
It said something to do with well, tell me again, because I don't really.
He claims
I heard something. I just didn't.
All right,
it's not my beef.
He's claiming that this because they were going to go after his mom and his family and shit like that. No, that's not what it was. What it was is it got mentioned in chat that Arizona Jeep Girl only lives with about like 100 miles or something from where Chili's mom does live. And that she would like to go and talk to Dan, the neighbor The guy that he was threatening to fight and then was going to have him thrown in jail and shit on that one video. You saw the one. And
I can imagine what that dude would have to say. He probably put up with him for years. You could tell in his face when he came, he was like, "I'm just sick of hearing your damn because he's been hearing it for how long? It's not just that incident that had been going on. You could tell for a long time.
You know, something very key. You could tell that this wasn't the first run-in with Dan. Okay, this wasn't the first run-in with Dan. And Dan also said something very interesting during that. He said, "People around here are afraid of you," and pointed like this, indicating like the fucking neighborhood. And I think he's deathly afraid that somebody's actually going to go, and primarily her, to go and
soil his good name.
Yes.
Right. See, me personally, I wouldn't do that to a man.
He never made it.
Here's the problem with.
Here's the worst part.
What I see. Listen. This is what I see with Chili. Okay, I see the man. He carries a camera around with him everywhere he goes. Right, everywhere he goes, there's a damn camera with him recording his everyday life. Buddy, you're fucking up. That's the problem. You're recording personal shit, and people are catching it on your videos. You're picking up spatulas and pretending they're guns and just dumb shit that people got to be recognizing. These people, if they don't see this shit all day long, every video I catch some discrepancy, but I don't find it to be important enough to point it out and pick on the man. You know what I mean? Regardless of what I think about him, everybody knows I think he's a dipshit, but I don't make it a point.
It's not so much that, Tim. It's the fact that he's so, he's like a little worm snaking that grass, just a mean little fucking person. And he really pisses people off. He really does.
This is true.
I mean, look, he's pissed you off. He pissed me off, and I can tell Sarah takes a little bit, and her fuse is hard to light, but it's short. Once that fucker's lit, you're in for it. That's done. I can tell that about her right now. And she tolerated a lot of shit.
She didn't stand her ground a lot until we met, and she had a lot of family members that were trying to put her in a certain place, and they have this, thing, this little system they all abide by, and she wasn't abiding by it. And she started standing up for herself, and I swear to God, man, since that day, this woman right here is a force to be reckoned with. She hasn't stopped. She's the real we don't stop. Like, the minute she started putting her foot down, it just stayed stomping. It never, she tells people blatantly, honestly, the truth, and at the same time, she's a sweetheart. She's nice to them. They can't say she was being mean about it,
right?
But she will tell you the brutal, honest truth and put it to you in a way where you can't be mad, even at the cold, hard truth that hurts your feelings. Look, I can't do that so easily.
just to clear air, I had nothing against Beth, but I don't like a hypocrite. And I saw some hypocritical shit going on, especially sending super chats and shit. I was going to promote her book. I wanted to promote her story. If indeed it's legit and everything, that's what I wanted to do. But then she wanted to start playing all sneaky squirrel shit. I mean, if you set up an interview and then think that it was a setup, you were the one that set it up.
And you listen, we were talking to her at the time, and she asked us not to speak for her. And, but like I said, if you knew this woman and you really interacted with her, it's like with you, Dave. If I hadn't actually talked to you, I didn't like your videos at first, because I had kind of an opinion, and you were trying to like destroy the only person I thought was supposed to be helping me. You know what I mean? So I based everything on that. Once I actually met you, and once I realized your point of view and your side of things, I can't not be okay with you because you're okay, dude. I can't, you know what I mean? I can't blame you for anything I've ever heard you say, whether I liked it or not. The things that you say are your conviction. You got to live with them. You got to deal with the consequences. It's like with Chili. He says a lot of dumb shit, and I keep my mouth shut for a lot of it. But when I see lies, I want people to know they're lies, because the truth is what we're all about. We don't want these. If somebody's lying in the midst of any of this shit, I will stop taking up for them. I will stop Look, I'm gonna say no because you're a liar. Now I don't trust liars. You know,
let me give
tell you
you
the truth.
let me give you a little like an analogy on that I've kind of formulated. It's kind of cool. My goal is not to destroy anybody. My goal is actually to point out for others. Now, just for an example, let's suppose that you are hooked on some spring water that the label on it says this shit is from the purest springs in the Alps of Switzerland and it's bottled by peasant women and all this shit. And you're like, oh, this is the best fucking water ever. And you drink it. That's all you ever drink, right? But then I go and I find out that it's not, that it's just some dickhead in his basement filling up fucking tap water into bottles and selling it like that, right? Now, if I show you that, I'm not trying to destroy them. I'm trying to protect you and anybody else that's drinking that fucking water, right? I'm going to say, look, you guys are getting a fucking snow job over here. Now, I don't care if you want to still go along with the snow job. Like there's some that want to continue on with Chili's snow job. That's all well and good. If I'm pointing out the hypocrisy, okay, one of the most blatant ones, he cried. He literally welled up tears over this guy in Nevada. Over the guy in Nevada to get him out of jail, right? But this guy who's against dungeons and torture cuffs and police locking up folks for frivolous shit was gloating like he was like a schoolgirl when he thought Terry had actually been arrested. And I knew he would. That's why I did it. I knew exactly what the fuck he would.
Though I thought that it was good for Terry to actually see that side of those guys because eventually he's going to see it. I know he's watching for it. I mean, I don't think he's a frauditor per se. I just think that those cops know he's out there. Listen, this is a small town you're dealing with, and these cops know when he's out there and when he's going live. That's why when he wasn't going live, he was getting more pullovers. That's a plain simple fact. Now, those are facts. That's what I see by seeing this situation. I also see that I don't see the cops pulling as many people over since Full Jarrett got busted for the dope and stuff.
Hey, hey, right now, Sarah, you have moderator shit, right? You can do moderator. There's someone in the chat right now that says Kick is a douche. That's not me. I'm not typing. I'm not even on chat.
That
right
Sovereigns, is it under your name?
Yeah, it says my name on there, but that's not me.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah,
that's you too. So they're gone.
Yeah, because see, that was me.
Should take care of that.
Oh, they would have no way of knowing. Because watch, I'll put mine in. See, somebody says I trolled you. There he comes up again a few times.
If they go to that, if you go to that channel and you see 1 or 2 subscribers, if any, and no videos, that tells you everything you need to know. And can you tap on it? Yeah, tap.
It's one of Chili's ball lickers. Hey, it's one of Chili's ball lickers, Tim. That's all.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
No, it is.
I think it's silly, man. I think this little troll shit going back and forth, the whole time this shit's been going on. I saw it in Chili's chats first. My God, the comments. Boop, 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 boop.
Fucking children.
Kate always wins. She don't tell them people to do that, though. You know what I mean? But for them to do that and just bombard somebody, they got to really hate your fucking guts to do that. And to be in my chat doing that shit, you can't say I've ever done a fucking thing to you that you could say that hurt you or
no
made you feel bad other than your opinion of on me. So
Scott Hubert, that's funny. So while you guys are on a pause, I got a few comments that I would like to elaborate on. Sovereign, I understand you have your opinions for certain reasons, and that's you, right?
Mm-hmm.
My just coming from a woman perspective, and I wasn't around at the time when the things that were going on with Miss Beth were going on. But I can only imagine, and I'm not saying that she went through hell, and I think in her position, not writing one citation for the person and then being willing to give the other person that came something, and they took that willingly, in a sense, was a loophole to cut them a break, but still it was a lesser of the two evils. And
But I
now,
get where he's coming from.
I do
too.
get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
If we're talking about, listen, if we're talking about the truth,
As far as her hell
truth will set
of
you
being
free.
victimized for being a woman, I see that as a common thread of what she wants to do, because she accused me of going against her because she's a woman. No, I'm going against you because you lied. That's all. You're not telling the whole truth. And I didn't go against you. I brought out the whole thing. I asked you questions that you didn't fucking like. That's what she called
And
being.
I understand that. I get that. I see where you're coming from.
I don't
I
care.
don't believe that you did that, that you made her out because she was a woman or anything like
if
that.
you're a woman, a man, or both. I don't give a fuck. I'm neutral on that aspect. And you know that when I look at like videos and shit, if I tell you, you know, Tim, you probably should have, I know you got Tourette's, but you need to shut the fuck up and let the cop talk. Now, on that same note, the cop was being a fucking dick. He had no reason to be pounding on your car. He had no reason to try to open your fucking door either. And telling somebody to shut the fuck up is not a lawful order. I give you a D on your stop, officer, whoever the fuck he was, Blankenship or whatever. You sucked at that one. Okay? That being said, now notice I told you what you were doing wrong, right? But I also said what the cop is doing wrong too. I'm not taking anybody's side. I critique the movie, right? I don't bash the actor. I critique the movie.
But see, here's the thing. When it comes to that, whether I was right or wrong, what he did was not legal, not lawful at all.
Not in any way.
Nothing I did was unlawful.
And you're not going to get anywhere with them on the side of the road. And I think somebody, it might have been Archangel, mentioned that earlier, is the side of the road is not the place to argue that. But
tell that to the cop that's turning red in the face.
It had been going on for so long, and you know, we were at a breaking point, and then what sent it over the edge was 2 weeks later, his brother following me. I literally called 911 to say, hey, this guy's following me through town. I feel threatened, and I'm going to pull off and stop, and can you please send someone else? Because that's not...
Never call 911 on the police.
And do you know what?
Never do it.
Do you know what the person on the other end said? Disregard. Fauci's on scene. Everything's under control. His backup. Oh, no.
Backup.
Things are not under friggin' control. Now there's two of them, and they're both...
And Fauci on camera, we got the body camera footage. Fauci tells the other cop, you know, it's sad this is really true, but you know, we can do illegal stuff and get away with it if we're going to pull somebody over, or if we have a good reason to.
Well, did you see what just happened? There was a guy, it was Grease Monkey Videos featured it, but I'd seen the video about it too. I believe James Freeman covered it as well. This guy, he saw a cop in a 45 zone, speed past him without his lights on. And so he followed the cop and then confronted him and asked him for his badge number and shit. A couple nights later, or 5 o'clock in the morning, fucking like 6 sheriff's deputies show up at his house with a shotgun and come and arrest him for driving while using a cell phone with no proof that it was him holding the fucking cell phone or any other thing about it. They just came and did that retaliatory because he did that and put the video out on YouTube. Next thing you know, they're coming to his house, pushing past his fucking mom, coming in the house, putting him in cuffs in his drawers and taking him out for driving with a cell phone. Oh, and disorderly conduct. No, that's
Probably
bullshit.
resisting arrest too.
Oh, yeah.
JR knew what
Now, that's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit that I see and I go, that's fucked up. Now, does that mean all cops do that? No. I mean, for instance, my neighbor, I know he would not participate in any of that kind of shit. He's told me, he says, I will not do anything unlawful. He says, I won't do it. It doesn't matter. He says, and I won't enforce any unconstitutional shit either. He said, that's just how I am. That's how it's going to be. He said, I'll hang my badge up before I do anything like that. And I made him promise it to me anyway. So
hey, I want to address that comment, Scott Hubert. So yeah, we were trying to. I was being as respectful as I could possibly be. I wasn't speaking over the cop. His problem was the fact that Sarah started talking at the same time that I was trying to explain something to the cop. And yeah, she was a nervous wreck, dude. You got to understand, this isn't the first incident we've had with these guys. You know, the incident that happened before this one, I was yanked out of the car. A gun clip fell on the ground. Sarah sees the clip, thinks he's got a gun because he's got a taser. Why would he automatically pull a taser out if he's just going to cuff me up? I didn't resist arrest. He already had a taser in his hand, and he dropped his gun clip, spilled the bullets all over the ground as he reached for his taser. Sarah comes out the driver's side thinking he had a gun. He turned straight around and put it right in her face. Now she's got a taser in her fucking face pointed at her grill, and she goes like this and backs up. He puts on the police. Oh, he tells the supervisor that she grabbed him by the arm when all that was happening. Watch the video. It never happens. She backs straight up because there's a taser right in her face. Okay. So that was a lie. Akers likes to lie on police reports. Then later on the police report, he puts that she grabbed me while he was pulling me out of the car. Two big differences. He tells the supervisor, two of them, two different times, that she grabbed him by the shoulder. The supervisor then formulates something he can turn that into and says, oh, well, then we could take her for obstruction. Then goes and tells her, since you don't want to tell us who he is, and you can go home if you do, you're going to go down for obstruction. And then says, oh, it's because she grabbed you by the shoulder because you said that, right? And then on the police report, since the video didn't show it, because they all go to the police station afterward, the captain, probably the chief, they all watch that body camera footage, and they all tell him what they did and didn't do the right way and what they need to say on the police report. Now, on the police report, he says that she grabbed me while they were pulling me out of the car, because you can't see that on his body camera. You think these dudes are completely deal-wits? They're not. There's a chief and a captain that help them along, but during those pullovers, they're dumbasses. They hardly know what they're doing out there, man. They're getting it. I mean, they'll learn. But for right now, what I see is a bunch of punks going around bullying people and hitting on their girlfriends when they pull them out of the car.
And a lot of it starts, like as far
It's
as
disgusting.
community policing, when they're being trained. They're not getting proper training, if any.
Now, they get
And,
training.
and
At least, you know, that top secret training facility that they use that nobody else uses. Ironton has this off location secret freaking training facility. It's that if you go to certain websites, it says that it's listed as the jailhouse in Ironton, the deputy sheriffs. But that's not it. There's a location that they have somewhere out in the country that they go to and train. So I don't know.
Hey, let me address something real quick. Hey, Beth, I don't give a fuck if you talk about me at all. Okay. I'm addressing some shit that people were asking me about in the chat. Sorry, your name's involved with it, but people were asking what the fucking deal was. And so I tell them, if you don't like it, go suck one. I don't care. Okay. So
First of all, is that really Beth? Because I don't know. I heard something about there being a fake. I thought that it was because someone was using her face as an avatar.
She did message me. Yeah, I saw that. And I told her, I said, well,
But for
quit.
Miss Beth, I wanted her to know that whenever you use somebody's face as an avatar, that's not really like somebody making it look like you're on their channel. That's just somebody trolling you using your picture as their picture. That's called an avatar. People on YouTube do that. It's like they got this like fair rights thing, you know. So for some reason though, my video gets taken down because the damn fucking movie trailer gets put in it, and I don't know why. It's not banned in any other country, just the U.S. So there's people watching it from other countries. I'm getting like 10 views a week on it.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Wonder
It's
what
inter-
countries are watching.
It's interesting the dynamics that you get. That's when you go and look on your dashboard and it tells you like where you're getting views from, different parts of the world.
I got
I
a
mean,
lot of
know there
viewers
was
from
all that.
Canada.
I didn't know there was all that shit. It tells me what your audience age range and how much is male, how much is female. I mean, wow, that's interesting, you know, and that could be useful if you set up a merch store. You can gear your merchandise to your age group of people, you know. I just hope I don't get to where I'm, you know, selling Sovereign Soul fucking depends.
We're
You
gonna
know,
start making Jeebus and Maymous bobblehead toys for everybody to
There
put
you
on their
go.
dashboards.
there you go. There you go. Have them in different styles too. You could have Darth Vader Jeebus Crisp. You could have reggae Jeebus Crisp, and they all bobble their head.
Yeah, I seen a thing that was Darth Vader. It was Pimp Vader. It says, is Pimp Vader gonna have to force choke a bitch?
Give me
Yeah, like
this.
a white Darth Vader suit and a cape. Funniest thing I've seen all day.
I'm going to
Does
step.
anybody else have questions, or is there anyone
Yeah,
else that
I'm
would
gonna
like to
step
come
away
up
for
with a point
a minute.
of view?
Yeah, because at this point we're just live streaming, and that's what it's all about for me. I like to vibe with people,
Yeah, man.
and I talk to everybody that's involved in this stuff on both sides as much as I can. And sometimes I tell people that don't know what's been going on, I'll tell them some personal shit that went on that happened between us and Chile and all that shit, because what he did was fucked up. And then he wanted me to come back and apologize to all his mods that were blocking all my comments and say that I was sorry that I did allow him to come back, he said. I'm like, come back to what, man? That's what I mean. This Judas shit, that dude is not Christ. You follow him like he is, but he's not. That's the difference. Some people follow a lot of people on YouTube like they're just the biggest person in their life. They're just such a fan. So I guess I don't. We have fans out there. I'm flattered, but I don't want nobody fanboying on me. Kind of creepy. Just Lisa. I want Lisa to be my #1 fan. And so, Sovereign, if you can hear me, there you are.
You have to
I
be
was
very.
telling you earlier.
Lisa is a known Penguin agent. Just so you
I
know.
believe.
Just so you
I
know.
believe.
But she's my biggest fan. I know that. She's
I
my
don't
top.
want to block her.
She's my moderator.
I think she's Ironton Auditor's biggest fan, dude. I think you're probably #2 running up because I read comments, man.
She's my.
Don't
She's
try to
my.
steal the thunder.
She's my #1 fact checker, and she keeps the show driven with you know, she brings up the other side of shit all the time, and she keeps it going. We love her. She's the queen of our moderators. So yeah, you come into
And
my
we do want to keep the balance. We do want to keep a balance.
oh yeah.
Like we all said earlier, we've got views on both sides.
Be reading comments here. So what's going on with Miss Beth? Miss Beth, it's from what I see, there's not a lot of personal stuff going on, and I don't want it all to be personal. I don't know, man. I just think a lot of things are getting a little too personal, and I see a lot of people saying mean shit that I wouldn't say, but I can't tell them not to say it. But I think that when people get to know each other and they actually talk to people, I think they might find something in common with them. And that's actually on the title and the description of this video. The whole point was to show some people that didn't know what happened to us, what happened to us. Let some people take up for the cops. Let some people, you know, point out some things that maybe I could have done better. And my personal opinion, and that was the last time I'm ever going to talk to a cop, period, during a traffic stop. Outside of handing him my license, registration, proof of insurance, that's all he's getting from me. I'm not talking ever again. That was a lesson learned. So any advice you could have about me talking and anything that I said, just miss me with it, because there's no more talking. The next time we get pulled over, we're recording and we're not saying a word. I actually said that once, and then I tried to be all, you know, cooperative with the dude and everything, and then he flipped out. So but it seems like we're divided. We've got two different audiences watching the same channels, right?
Yeah.
We've got people that are following Chili and that listen to every word he say, and then they're coming over to Sovereign Soul on Chains channel, and they're coming over to my channel, and they agree with us too. So what are you gonna do, Chili? You can't have it all to yourself, buddy. Not everybody agrees with everything you do. That's the point. It's not all about you, man. You're not number one, fucking numero uno man in the world.
Kimmy Don, no ma'am. Those are hot, fluorescent pink. No rojo. We don't do the red. I'm pretty in pink, sister. In all seriousness, we are still fighting our battle. There's a very long journey ahead, not just for us, but for many others. And I like the way Sovereign described it, a low-tech fix for a lot of situations. And all it takes is a piece of paper and something to write with. And thank you, Miss Kimmy Dawn. Appreciate it. So
real recognize real. That's what
we're trying to remain optimistic. It's very discouraging. I've several times considered throwing my hands in the air saying, screw it, let's not do this no more. Eventually, I would like to get out there and actually accompany Ironton Auditor and do some audits.
we have, actually.
And y'all don't understand the guts that it actually takes to do that. And
yeah,
I mean,
you think Terry ain't scared out there sometimes standing in front of them cops? Buddy, especially with a gun on your hip. That's even worse. Like,
but really,
what if that cop's like, oh, he's got a gun?
Someone filming them is their worst fear, because they're catching them doing shit they know they're not supposed to under the color of law.
Yeah, and God forbid a constitutional law professor who's an investigative journalist comes to your town and starts pulling dirt out from under the rugs.
Trots in on a quarter horse with a blazing saddle and sprinkles.
Yeah, man. He's a constitutional law. He told you guys he was a professor.
A professor. No, he was telling people on his videos that he was a professor, actually. I believe.
He was. Yeah, he was.
Early on videos. He had a bigger following then.
In fact, I think that when I think the title of Brian Young's video when he featured him was called Constitutional Law Professor Takes on Cops, or something to that effect. I may be paraphrasing, but it had the words constitutional law professor. And I'm like, professor from where? What university is he a professor from?
Well, you think that guy just took Chili's word for it? And, because we expect other men to be honest, right? That's what we expect. When we see someone who claims to be an honorable man, and then you find out he's not honest, that's like the worst person you could come up with, because, that's somebody who tricked you into thinking you could trust him.
He knows enough that if he only talks for a short period of time, he can sell that idea. But if you let him get into any depth of what he supposedly knows, you find out that he doesn't really know shit. You find out that he does know.
If I had the charisma and I could, rest assured, I would actually try to help people. If I knew I could do something, make a difference. If I could go up to a cop and hold a camera in their face like that, man, I don't think that I could, because for one, I think that they would treat me differently. He's got this way, like he's this kind of actor that
abrasive.
He's he as a journalist, he would be like one of them Geraldo type of fucking journalists. To be honest, like,
yes,
I'm not saying Chili's just completely useless. I'm just saying he's an asshole and a liar. I mean, like I said, I see the good in everybody. I think he could do some really good shit if he put his heart to it. and
But
stop
he's
trying to
gonna have
make.
to,
It's not about the money. It's
he's
about the
going to
passion,
have
bro.
to encounter an extremely humbling experience like other people have before he's able to see it from that point of view.
He looks at it like a career. You know what I mean? It's a career for
Um,
him. He wants to make money out of this shit. I guess everybody does, right? I mean,
Let's
we can
see.
find a way to squeeze some money out of some shit, but don't do it off the misery of other people. And say, hey, donate to these poor people, and then keep money. And then call those people later and say, hey, come to the courthouse. I got some money for you, knowing they need it. And then be like, just check your fucking mail. And then leave town and don't come back. That's, that's where we're at with this dude. And then contacts us months later after spending nothing but time trying to freaking make people forget that he was ever here, right?
Oh, for fuck's
And
sake.
then contact us and say, hey, I'm going to court. I made this affidavit up for you. I want you to sign it. It's nothing that's true, but here's how we can make it sound true, and you believe me. Not do you believe me, but you believe it. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You do it. I'm like, what? No way, dude. I'm not coming over there.
I've already walked away. Much too much.
Yeah, it's like, hey, come over here so I can take out your eyes and put them in your ball sacks. Then I'm going to take your balls and stick them in your eye hole. No way, dude.
Easy peasy.
I ain't going over there.
It's gone on. It's been a while since we've had this stream going. We were kind of hoping to, a few more people to give their comments, or maybe even come on the panel and share your thoughts on things for the future.
Put the link out there, Tim. Maybe somebody will grab it up. Maybe you had people come in later.
Real quick, I got it. Look, I got work in the morning, but I could stick around for a little second.
But
I see Beth in here, and I hope she just doesn't keep on going on at it, because, like I've been saying,
problem,
if it just would we could just maybe.
That's some thin skin. That's some thin skin, man.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Hopefully we're going to get to some common ground.
I'm going to drink about 3 more beers, but pass out.
Yeah, and y'all, the crazy thing is we don't even live in Ironton. We're residents of Kentucky, but we have family over there.
And we would definitely speak up for the people that over there that are still being messed with, and we'd let it be known.
I can't imagine how many people have had something happen that are too afraid to say what they endured.
I keep looking at the screen and thinking it's something room.
We had that.
Hey, Dave. So look, I keep looking at the screen kinda, and I forget that there's another screen, and I'll look at it every once in a while, corner of my eye, and I'll think it's the other half of my room over here. Because I'm used to having the black lights and the stuff right here, and it looks
and like the little
same.
shelf.
Yeah. Little shelf and everything.
All my little bullshit on my nose.
I keep thinking Sarah's got the black lights going. Everything in this room is like black light sensitive. Did I show you our ceiling fan? I don't have black lights on in here, but she did this. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, you showed me that. You sent me a picture of that.
Oh, yeah, well, you've been here. So. You've been here. I just thought it was really creative.
What we got going on in here? Yeah, I don't know. She got mad at me still about something. That's what I have to wonder. I think there should be some kind of a test of, how thin-skinned can a cop be? You know what I'm saying? If you are going to get angry and lose your professionalism over some words that someone says, you don't belong in that position. You absolutely don't. Take a lesson from the guards at Buckingham Palace. They challenge people to try to get them to react. And just short of touching them, they just stand there like a fucking statue. like a fucking statue. People come up, try to make them laugh, try to piss them off. Nothing. That's professional. But if you let somebody's words affect you to the point where you're going to get angry and retaliate, well, you have no position and you have no business with a position of authority like that.
Had the cops do it to me, so
Mhm.
I didn't like it. I don't like it when nobody does it. I don't really like seeing people do it. I can tell certain people things and they listen. I can tell certain people things and they don't. I try to give good advice. I don't always follow my own advice, but I do give good advice.
And let's see who made unknown
I think that's all
official
of us.
for the comment about asking Miss Beth that. I think for her, well, I think you would best find your answer when the book comes out.
December
And
1st.
y'all have to understand something.
Well, she shares a lot of entries from her book. She shares a lot of it.
Right.
And
And that's
these are things that go on every day in every town, in every little circle of cops or whatever.
some worse than others.
Some worse than others. And I can honestly say that back when she was a cop, there was another, I'm not sure if she worked for Ironton. She may have. I'll find out the facts. But there was another woman that the cops mistreated really bad. And I tried to get a friend of mine to come on the stream tonight. She could have talked about it. Psychic Soul Senses, actually. And she said that this chick was done pretty much the same way Beth claims, and that she was a black woman, so it made it kind of even worse because there were racist things going on too, along with the stuff about being a woman. When you're in a and you know, I don't know if you've heard a lot of stuff that's happened to Miss Beth, but that would traumatize any woman. As far as like some of the stuff they did, they threatened her, threw stuff over her fence, had, you know, it's just like I said, she talks about it, so I don't have to go there. But the back and forth when I see her get mad because you mentioned her name, I don't think she quite understands the whole YouTube platform thing. She thought that whenever her avatar was on your channel the other night, I guess, she thought that was someone going on your video pretending to be her. So you gotta give her a little slack, you know what I mean?
Look.
You know.
See, I can change.
Yeah, she thought that was someone pretending to be her. And I tried to.
So here's the thing, Beth. If you're watching, Beth, and I'm sure you are, all I have to do, I can take any fucking picture I want to, and I got that was a thumbnail from one of your videos. Now I can actually change it to this one. I got this off your Facebook page. Okay. That's off your own Facebook page. So, you know, you can do the same thing. You can do the exact same thing. This is through StreamYards. It ain't through YouTube. That's through StreamYards that you do that shit.
And I think she's like me in a lot of ways. Look, I never knew anything about cell phones and this stuff. Like I said, I spent time in prison. When I got out, the swipe phones were already a thing. My 10-year-old daughter at the time had to show me how to use one. So I had that luxury because they knew. I thought it was pretty neat. I thought it was like Back to the Future type shit. Matter of fact, hadn't even kept track of TV or anything, the news, nothing. Didn't even know it existed until I got out.
I topped out on the Atari. That was my fuck. Anything after that, I was like, these kids, they have no idea what the fuck they've got. They have no idea what the fuck they've got, man.
They got real life simulations now. I mean,
well, I think it's making them stupid. I think that's making them stupid. I think it is causing retardation.
That's what it's meant to do, because unless you have to actually think for yourself, the more dependent you're going to be on the system, and Big Brother's going to you're going to be on that check eventually. Listen, if you ain't getting that check yet, if you ain't doing something for yourself, you'll be getting it eventually.
You know what I think? This is a little bit off topic, but I think it's kind of funny. And then I got to get my dog some water. But I've had some people take offense that I've used the word retard. right? And they're okay though, and often themselves use the terms moron, imbecile, not realizing that imbecile and retard are also medical classifications of retardation. Okay, so
I hear people on the internet saying potato, calling people a potato, right? You know what a potato is? It's a vegetable. It's making fun of somebody paraplegic, you know, and it's calling them a potato.
Well, there again, I look at it and it's like, you know, you can't control what people say. If you don't like what somebody says, you're free to not like it, but you're not free to make that person change what they say.
This is another thing. YouTube is not for everyone. The criticism is not for everyone.
No.
Comments I can deal with. Sometimes the criticism pisses me off too, but you can't control it, and you have to just either forget it, ignore it, and that's my best advice: is ignore it. Because if you ignore it, eventually the people see you don't get a rise out of it, they stop doing it. Like, dude, like Sovereign, you are an asshole, dude. I'll give you that, but you know.
David Lee, I have said that
I can be
all
one
along.
too.
I've said that all along. It takes away the intimacy of a real friendship, a real true friendship. And I freaking hate social media. I miss the times where if you wanted to know how your friend was, you get up and take your ass over there and check on them. You know, or furthermore, if you want to know what somebody's like, just go to their house, because people can be anybody they want behind a screen. And we said before, we do try to find the good in most people. And even if they're going through some bad things, we still try to look past it because we've not walked in their shoes. And for us here in Ironton, there's a lot of things that are still yet to be seen or heard of. But my response to that is that's probably best, because in order to make the change, we don't want to put our strategy out there and give those we're trying to hold accountable. We don't want to just give their defense to them. And it's going to take more than just a couple people.
Hey, I remember those corded phones. I remember the dial ones too. Those were cool. Yeah. Call them the Bugs Bunny phones. I don't know, man. I miss those days in a way. And in a way, I think some of this technology that's coming out is really freaking cool. And by groovy, I mean that there's grooves in it. And I think, I don't know, man. A lot of it, like he said, is going to make people stupider. Some of it could be used for really, really good purposes, but it seems like they're not. They're just they're wanting to make everything about entertainment. Have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy? I swear, that movie.
Every day.
As silly as that movie is, you saw Idiocracy, right?
Yeah, every day I see it. I go outside in public. I go to Walmart. You're living in the fucking shit right there.
You interrupted me in the middle of "Oh my balls," and that is not okay.
Not okay. He broke my apartment.
It is. Yeah.
You know what? This is something I wanted to say. I see a lot of these people, and I ran across one on a stream yesterday. This guy, Wolfie, whatever. I don't know what the fuck his name is. Anyway, Wolverine Transparency. Wolverine Transparency. Okay. This guy, again, here's somebody who's a professional victim, right?
I'm sorry, Sovereign, real quick.
What?
Just real quick, Miss Leanna Gerald, you can reach us at our email, tim.lyons7780@gmail.com. Sorry, Sovereign, take it away.
You can put that in the chat.
So, in any case, no, I wasn't describing anyone's medical condition, Lisa. I'm merely making a comparison of someone acting at a mental capacity of someone with the medical classification of retard. There's a difference. Not making fun of the retard at all. I'm making fun of someone who shouldn't be retarded, acting retarded. Okay? There's a difference. Anyway, that being said, what were we talking about? What were we talking? Oh, this
We
guy,
were talking
this,
about idiocracy.
Wolverine transparency. Well, what I found out very quickly, again, another professional victim. He turns everything into a confrontation. He wants to turn everything that's said to him into a confrontation. And it's like, wait a minute. Your problem is not with police. Your problem is not with municipalities. Your problem is the fact that you have no idea how to interact socially with other people. He talks over everyone. He thinks everybody's picking on him for some shit. So he brings up the idea of some kind of shit was said about him having one arm. Next thing you know, because I didn't jump on somebody for saying it, it made me, I guess what was the word he made up? An ableist. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Well, that's these types of Marxists, these Marxist idealists that come in and they want to shut everybody up. Communists. They're communists. They want to shut people up. They don't want them to have a free platform. They worry about what other fucking people say. Instead of just, well, that guy said that, big fucking deal, or that was cool, or whatever the fuck, right? No, they got, you gotta shut them down, go on a campaign. We must silence people so they only think the way I do. That's ridiculous. And I see a lot of these people that are, they're the chilly people, the statists. All the statists that are claiming that they don't want to be statists are engaged in extreme statist activity.
Now, wait, I didn't think Wolverine transparency was a big Chili fan. Am I missing something there? Or?
Oh, I don't know if he's a Chili fan or not a Chili fan. I found out that we had a Kick, Keeping It Criminal.
I know he don't hate the guy or whatever, but I don't think he wants to get involved. There's a lot of people that don't want to get involved.
It's like, look, we weren't in that. We were in that. We were talking, it was talking regarding some video that he put out. I wasn't aware what the video was even really about. I never saw it. But him and the guy who does commentary on these audits were going to talk. But the guy that does the commentary, Wolverine would not let him fucking talk. Anytime anybody started saying anything, they'd get no more than 4 words out of their mouth and he'd start fucking talking over them. And if you objected to him talking over you, then you were picking on him and ganging up on him. And I'm like, you just want to
point something out here. So unknown official is saying that Wolverine supports Chili. And now let me point this out. Unknown official, he used to be on a lot of Chili's videos. He used to watch a lot of them. I think he agreed with Chili on a lot of things, which I did too. And I still do on some things, right? Because he's right about some things. He's just using those things to placate to certain people. And he's got this certain kind of audience, and they are extremely prejudiced toward police. Dude, I'm not going to lie. I got to that point. At some point, I got there. I was there. The way these cops were treating us, it was a nonstop thing. Every time we encountered them, it was some bullshit. And I was starting to feel the same way. So he played with the heartstrings on that. He had me, but I always said, I don't hate cops. I told him, dude, I don't hate cops. He said it on camera. I told him, I don't hate all cops. He says, well, that's the difference between you and me. You're a bigger man than me and blah, blah, blah. It's not about hating a cop. It's not about hating anybody. It's about not finding something acceptable. That thing where people just look the other way because they know there's nothing they can do about it.
Well, I'm glad
I want to talk about shit. I want to speak up on shit like that because, yeah, there are things we can do about it, but who's willing to fucking do it? One person, 2 people? Terry's not going to do a great audit out there all by himself. And,
Here's the thing, though, is that you can't.
Yeah, you're right. It's not saying he's a bad auditor. I'm sorry. It's not about that.
It's not. No, going on about that. I forget. Never mind. Go ahead. Go ahead with what you were saying. I had something really good, but I forgot what it was.
It was probably about Chili.
Oh, it kind of was. It wasn't really about him. It was about the supporters, the people that supported her. The irony that they are against the cops because of their tyrannical behavior and acting
I
like
just sent you a private
Nazis,
message.
right? They
Right.
act like Nazis and all this other shit. This is their rhetoric, right? And then
Some of
immediately,
them do, yeah. Some
Right.
of his mods. I think
Right.
they feel like that because
So
he
they-
charges them up with this energy that I guess it misses me because
Okay.
I don't know.
So the irony that I'm pointing out, though, is the fact that they immediately, in the world of Chile, engage in the exact same kind of behavior that they are against the fucking police doing. You notice that?
Yeah.
They're the ones telling Sarah, shut the fuck up. Just like that cop. That's why they
Just
block
like-
everybody.
Basically.
There it is. So there's another instance of blatant fucking hypocrisy. I cannot stand that. I cannot stand that. To sit there and go off on Terry because he's respectful to the police when he does his audits are basically cop watching. Okay? Not necessarily an audit. It's a cop watch. There it is. You saw the thing. There's what happened. So he gets all pissed off at Terry about that kind of shit. And then you see him up there on Hollywood Boulevard and he's doing everything short of putting on a set of knee pads and getting down on him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was
I
like,
made a
with those,
video about it.
I'm your friend.
Did a
I
video
would be
on
really
it.
cool with you. You'll protect me from these gang guys, won't you? You know, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. You turn around
I
and
put
do
a video out about that. It's called Delete Hypocrites. I put one out. It's a really short one. It's basically him talking shit about me, and he's doing the same thing he's talking shit about just the whole time. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about when it comes to like putting the truth out there. Like, I'm not gonna sit around and just talk about him like he's a completely bad person, but he does bad shit.
That's
He's
a
tried
bad,
to get us to do shit
That's
that
a bad person. I'm sorry, Tim. That's a bad person. It is. That's a bad
What if
person.
you did some bad shit? Would I think you were a bad person? No, I would think that you did some
If I
bad shit.
continue, if I'm
Continue to do bad. Okay, that was what I was getting at. You continue to do bad shit, then you're going to be perceived as a bad person.
there you
Even
go.
if you feel like you're not a bad person, even if you got love in your heart, man. Everybody's got love in their heart, but trying to pretend like you love people more than you love yourself, and people see right fucking through it.
Well, yeah.
There's where the
Listen,
and
that's
look, I'm just being completely honest. I don't want to have to all the time.
a lot of
I don't want to have to tell people the truth because it fucking hurts. But
women.
people don't mind telling me.
Women found Ted Bundy to be a very charming and attractive man.
Yeah, there
Right.
were women saying "Kill me, Ted" after he got busted.
Yeah. So you've got that. You've got that. It doesn't have anything to do with it. You know, you can put yourself out in a perception. That's how a doppelganger works. That's how a shapeshifter works. I don't have to necessarily change my appearance. I have to change your perception of my appearance. Like take off a superhero costume and start sporting a pair of glasses that I can use to effectuate what I say, so that when I'm done saying it, I can make my point by straightening my glasses and shit like that. It's all perception. It's all fucking perception. Look, now, see all these books behind me? I'm a professor. You see, I'm a professor of something, and I have these glasses, and I can do this, and I use some words that have 3 syllables.
That's
Ooh.
like saying that because I got candles and stuff back here that I'm a freaking magician, huh?
There you go. There you go. There you go.
I got crystals in the candles. Hey, let me show you something cool Sarah bought me today. I gotta show you this. There's 2 of them actually. Is this one of them? Yeah, she got me this little piece of amethyst here.
Oh, nice.
And did you remember the jadeite that I showed you? That the guy tried to pass off as emerald, and I saw it in a store and got it.
Yeah, neat. Wow.
She got me a mushroom. She got me a mushroom made out of that.
Oh my God, that's neat as shit. You need a piece of selenite.
I got selenite.
Oh, get one of them big motherfuckers, man. Yeah, I got
a few of these guys.
I got one of those, but I got a tower, and I've got it on an LED light up base.
That's cool.
that changes color, and that shit you know how it refracts the light up through it. That shit is.
Yeah.
Hang tight. I'll show you a really cool thing made out of amethyst that I just got here recently. I got 2 of them actually. An egg.
This little guy.
Hey, Miss Lee said that's my mom's birthstone.
Oh yeah, that's neat. Wait, that looks blue.
It's amethyst. Well, it's probably the light in here. I have blue and red
Yeah.
light in here.
Scott Hubert,
Is it Virginia
that
amethyst?
The truth?
Yeah,
Isn't that the
it's
So
to an egg, and I've got 2 of them. It's exactly the same size as a robin's egg. I have a whole robin's egg in the cabinet right next to these. There you go.
Like that.
Yeah.
I think that's onyx actually. But we got to wrap it up, man. I got to get to work in the morning.
Right on. I hear you.
And
Thank you, for coming on.
Mainly the thing that we wanted to do was just get people from both sides. I think we did here a little bit. Maybe more people will come check it out. And, I think we can, I think that there's a place in the middle that people can agree on, because what you're seeing is blatant on both sides. We got this blatant, and in the end, I'm not out to hurt nobody, but there's things that are people are being distracted from, that were way more important to me than how big of an asshole Chili was. And I wanted to share it on, it was kind of poor because I didn't have the right way to share it. Everybody could see it and hear it, but it's all on the channel. You can go watch the videos later if you want to understand exactly what was happening before Chili came here. Not everybody that runs into, I gave like 3 dash cameras out to different friends that were having problems, and I haven't heard from them since. So hopefully they just haven't been messed with again or something. But I noticed the cops have slowed down in Ironton, messing with people, and from what I'm seeing, like, I'm not seeing it happen, but I'm not over there every day. But lately, when we drive over there, the only time I see a cop, he's not really pulling nobody over. The weekend Chili left here, they were pulling like, oh my God, Terry was getting video footage. We were out there with him that one night. We had, they were sheriff department and cops were pulling people over all at once. Like, I haven't seen that since. So maybe something good is coming of it. Maybe they actually, I give them a chance. I give them a chance to see the error of their way. And hey, if I'm doing something illegal and you can write me a ticket for it and it's all fair game, I'm out there being real careful when I drive, and I'm trying real hard not to break the law. I use my turn signal 100 feet prior to those fucking turns.
Yeah,
just because now I know that's a law, and I know that if I get pulled over, it could escalate into something I don't want to fucking deal with that day. But if they're doing the right thing out there, I give them props for it. Do the right thing. Please keep doing the right thing. I hope to God Terry doesn't get a single video out there audited. Sorry, Terry. I know that's what you do, man, but I've heard Eugene say we need more pullovers. I would highly disagree with that. We need the cops to leave people the fuck alone is what we need. Right? Like, you need to pull more people over so we can have more videos. Like, what the fuck? I love you, Terry, dude. Do what you do. I hope, if something does bust out, I hope you catch it on camera. But all in all, I hope you don't catch anything, because I hope it doesn't happen. I hope you don't need to catch anything. Hopefully they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that's absolutely. And there should be people, you should need to pay attention to what's going on. Another thing too, I know it's easy to get caught up in that because they do fish. And just remember, you don't have to tell them about your day. You're only required to provide your license, proof of insurance, and registration. That's it. You don't have to answer any questions, and you don't have to be a dick about it. I've used before, you can say, I don't really wish to discuss my day. I'm kind of like to get out of here, please. You know, you can be very nice and respectful and still assert your rights. Do you mind if I search your
Put
car?
that cherry on top, or you're gonna trip their ego up. That is a fact, dude.
Well, it's a, they got the, and it's if they go, yeah, if you start getting all pissy with them, you're gonna get that back a lot of times.
Think about this though, too, David. Before we go, think about if you were a cop, whether you wanted to be or not. What if they drafted people like they do the military, and they made you do police duty, right? What if they did that? And then you go out and you got to deal with the shit you deal with. Granted, these dudes are doing shit they should not be doing, though. You know,
Yeah,
like foul shit. Terry knows about some stuff going on. Just because he don't talk about it, don't mean he don't know about it. We've talked. There's things going on that he can't prove. He's not going to put it out there as a fact if he doesn't know it. But there are people coming forward with their stories, and you know,
they try to.
just, like I said, I hope he doesn't catch anything on camera, because I hope it doesn't happen.
Well, one of the things I see, you get pulled over for a blinker violation. The next thing they're doing is they're saying, "Is it okay if I search your car?"
And they let them.
Right, and it's like, why don't you just say no? It's not. And when they ask why,
now I will say with Officer Akers and a couple of them other guys, they do have a way of kind of intimidating, and they're they're dirt balls, dude. These guys are dirt balls. I ain't gonna say it any way different because it's the truth. They are dirt balls.
Tim. They all do, because they go like this. It goes like just like this. Do you mind if I search your car? Yes, I do.
Do they all flirt with your freaking girl while you're right there in the car and like grab their crotches and spit constantly on the sidewalk in your face? Like, it's intimidating to some people how these dudes treat them. And they're definitely, yeah, I'm going to let you search my car because I don't want you to bring the dog and then say that it freaking, say that it hit on my car when it didn't, because they got this little trick they do. I've seen Ironton cops do this.
They all do it, Tim. They all do it. They all do it.
They make the dog jump on the car, and that's not even the hit. The hit's when it sits down.
Yep. Well,
I've heard the cop tell the dog to sit and then say the dog hit on your car.
Right. Well, here's the sitch. Here's as I was saying, the conversation goes like this. Do you mind if I search your car? Yes, I do. Why? Well, because we have a Fourth Amendment right to be secure in our persons and effects. You know, that's it, right? Oh, well, why? Do you have something to hide? Look, I'm already, tired of being here. So do your thing, write your ticket. Well, I'm going to run a dog around your car. Fine. Do whatever the fuck you got to do. Then if they do that, the dog fails. They search your car. They detain you basically illegally for that period of time. If everybody reported that, the dog, they find nothing, right? And if everybody reported that, I mean, it's already statistically, the fucking cops, dogs are wrong like 67% of the time, I think it is. Or I think it's even higher than that they're wrong. And it's just an end run around the Fourth Amendment. They're hoping they'll find something they can jack you up on. That's all. And that's why I think that the canine dogs, they shouldn't be allowed to use them. They really shouldn't. It's bullshit. Those dogs are wrong half the time. And then you've got
like this. If you can prove that a cop lied on a police report, and we're going to prove it to Pam Wagner that one of her officers lied on a police report, and if he doesn't get put on a Brady's list for that, I'm holding Pam accountable because she didn't hold him accountable.
Well,
so then we're going to go after Pam.
From what I'm seeing, now this
because
is
I'm about to start suing these bastards, and I hope they know that. I want them to know that I have the intent to sue them, and it'll be coming real soon. So
now,
you want to contact
me? From what I've observed here in the Shenandoah Valley, I see that it appears that Ironton does take care of bad cops. We have two examples right now that have been recently on our tongues. One's Bradley Spoljaric. Another one we know about, and that they have lost their jobs for these wrongdoings, right? So it looks to me as though they do take care.
Here's the thing: they won't leave it like that. They won't leave a trail that you can find that says they lost their job. They let them resign. They don't fire them.
Well, that's
they resign. They didn't lose their job.
Tim, that's not Ironton. That's not the police department. That's the police union. And I totally disagree with fucking unions. That's they're just fucking communist.
Well, it's a fraternity, dude. It's a fraternal order.
But
it
still,
says everything you know. It's a fucking pentagram. I mean, come on.
That's exactly right. It's a union. It's a union. It's not the fucking Ironton Police Department itself. You see, they don't have that. That's through their contract. That's through their union. The same thing. Look, I can tell you about some shit. The UAW, the United Auto Workers, right? I've gone into the auto plants with my dad. He worked there, and he'd get a pass for me to go in there. Dude, I've seen motherfuckers right there on the line openly shooting up fucking heroin, right? And the only thing that happens to them is they'll take them, if it gets too bad, they take them and make them go to rehab. The company pays for them to go to a fucking luxury rehab center and shit. They come back, and if they relapse, it's no big deal. They just send them right the fuck back. Meanwhile, they're getting their unemployment while they're at the rehab. And this is all because of the union. It's not because of General Motors. It wasn't because of Chevy. It was because of the fucking unions that do that shit. And so that's where these things happen on that level with these police officers. You look at that one, what's his name? Acevedo? He's a real son of a bitch. He's been in the news here recently. I think he's New York. I think he's the representative in New York of the Fraternal Order of Police. And this guy is a little sniveling mobster. He's terrible. He is absolutely terrible. So that's where you got a lot of your problems at. When it comes to that kind of thing, it's not that easy. It's sort of like you would figure if you owned a place and you were renting it to somebody and they were tearing the shit up out of the place, that you'd be able to make them leave, right? Oh, no. They can stay there and destroy your shit until you go through all the legal rigmarole. And by the time you do, they've already fucked it up so bad nobody else will rent it ever. You see, that's the thing. The law, a lot of times, in these different organizations, special interest groups and PACs and unions and shit, they really put a fucking on how things are supposed to go. It goes too far in the other way. And that's where the problem with that shit comes from, being able to resign. And yeah, definitely he should go on a Brady list. I agree with that. And he most certainly probably will, because that's a private thing. That's not I don't believe that's a federal thing or a state thing. It's actually a private thing that they put out, an information board.
So do you think if I take this information, if I take a body camera video, the BWC footage of an incident where an officer tells his supervisor, which we know now is a corrupt drug dealer or whatever, he's driving around with meth and heroin in his pocket, fentanyl, whatever, that's even worse. Okay, and that's the supervisor that comes on scene, and this guy writes a report that doesn't match the story he told either one of his supervisors, right? And I show them this report, and I show them this body camera footage, and it's evident that he's a liar. Should he go on a Brady's list?
Yeah, well, I think right there that should be
let's put 1 in the chat for Brady's list. Let's put a 2 in the chat that it's their job to lie, and
they're allowed to
that's
do
part
it,
of their
so
job,
they
and
do.
they're allowed to do it. Come on, man.
Well, they're allowed to lie to you when they're talking to you. It doesn't mean that you can't stretch that into they're allowed to lie on reports. And yes, I think that
they're not allowed to lie on those official reports. And when they do, they are supposed to go on a Brady's list. And if he doesn't, then that proves that these cops are corrupt. On the highest level, they're not going to do anything about it. What can I do about it? People ask me all the time on my channel, Sovereign, what are you going to do about it? What are you doing about it? What would you do about it, asshole? It's not up to me to do something about it. It's up to their superiors. It's up to me to complain and drop complaints. That's not snitching on a cop. For the person that called me a snitch earlier, that's not snitching when it's done on a cop. That's holding those people accountable and protecting people from the shit that's going to happen to them if you don't. That's your duty.
Yeah. Art Acevedo, that's what he was at. Yeah. In the middle of this rain, he's a complete tyrant. Yep, I know. That's the guy. Little short guy, too. He's got that little Napoleon complex to him. wants to put his head back like this, and when he yells and shit, like he's, "We welcome you to Munchkin Land." But but no, that's grounds for dismissal. Absolutely. I mean, you part of your duties are to be honest, fair, and accurate, so that justice can be served. Your job is not to punish anyone. As a police officer, your job is not to punish anyone. Your job is to apprehend criminals and arrest them. Not to beat them up, because that's what the courts are for. That's what the courts are for. You got to leave your goddamn feelings out of it. Okay? Your job is merely to apprehend. Boom. Over. It's not to punish. But too many of these cops, and I really hate it when I see them wearing that fucking Punisher thing on their uniform, because no, you are not a Punisher. Get that fucking out of your head.
All the time
Who is
here.
the guy?
Even
who is
the jailers even get it here. The prison guards, the jailers. It's disgusting. I don't even want to tell you about what happened to me when I went through receiving in prison, man.
What
I have a
about
lawsuit here too.
what about the guy in New York? What was that guy's name? Eric Gardner? He was choked out and killed because he was selling loose cigarettes. What the fuck was that for? What are you doing? What are you punishing? The guy was selling fucking cigarettes, and so you killed him? You killed him? That's fucking bullshit, man. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. They've taken it like, and unfortunately, they're really focusing on combat vets out of the Middle East to make into cops. And I'm sorry, the police is not the military. They're not supposed to be the military.
Nope.
And now they look like, when I was coming up, cops wore a blue uniform with the little cap with the bill, and their cars had these lights on the top of it, a very distinct silhouette. Very distinct silhouette.
Now they look like fucking soldiers invading Kuwait.
Yep, they do. They look like they're going off to the fucking desert, dressed up, strapped up like they're going into Fallujah. And it's like, what the fuck? So they go into
that's Chileism.
Oh, damn you.
Oh, you remember that one, right?
Right. So consequently, what happens is they go into these morning briefings, and I'm sure, and this happens in the bigger places, of course, that, oh, we got to be careful out there. There's been a lot of people making threats against the police, this, that, and the other. And they get geared up that the public is the enemy. They get geared up with that intention in mind. And I'm sorry, if your only tool is a hammer, everything's going to look like a fucking nail. And that's what they are. If you're going out dressed for combat, you're going to get combat. That's just how it works, man. Because it's going to be in your thing. You ever heard the old term, dress for success? Like, if you want to get a good high-paying job, start acting like you have one. Dress like that. Assume that posture, and pretty soon you will find yourself in that role.
Hey, Sovereign, I just realized it's 40 after 1.
Yes.
And I have to get there, man.
Right on, bro. See, that's my Illuminati.
Like usual, I agree with a lot of shit that comes out of your mouth, man.
The all mocking tongue. It's the all mocking
Terry,
tongue.
good to see you in here. David, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I had
good to
a
see
couple
you.
other people I wanted to come on tonight. They both had really, really good excuses of why they couldn't.
Miss Lisa, it was actually good to see you in here. You add a little pepper to the salty times.
Not really.
Lisa's my girl. You got to watch out, though. I'm going to turn her. She's kind of a double agent right now. She was a full-fledged Penguin agent, but I'm going to turn her. She's a double agent now. So we're going to get her.
Two-headed troll. She a two-headed troll.
Anyways, we're just glad to see everybody, and hope that many people will continue our journey with us, and in return, we'll do the same. We're all in this together, no matter what.
Yeah.
But we love you guys, and we appreciate you.
Any parting words of wisdom?
Don't trust Whitey. Lord loves a working. See a doctor.
All right, guys.